GG! The Mouthful Podcast is brought to you by GoodGame.rock, the most welcoming gaming community on Facebook. Visit us at www.goodgame.rocks.
Making pancakes. Making pancakes.
But you know, poor body.
Making pancakes. Making pancakes.
I'm going to change this cable because this cable is also going in and out.
Okay. While you do that, I'm going to go refill this glass because this drink is going in and out.
Ew.
Just realized what I said. Oh. And we are back. Oh, shit.
Yes, we are.
Oh, sorry.
I'll tell you.
Oh, shit. We're recording.
Oh, shit.
Let's
Okay.
just jump right in. Fuck.
Me.
Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and that is David, aka Dream Twister, and this is the real episode 331. Yes, we are sure this time of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
And we are not drunk. GG!
That makes exactly one of us.
I was going to say, at least not yet, but I mean, shoot.
I mean,
evidently.
well, at some point, I always remember. So about blood alcohol content, one drink was supposed to always be enough to inebriate you for anything.
Nah,
Is that
that's the
that's
warm
bullshit,
up.
right? I feel like it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just, the government talking, trying to, no, you don't want a day drink, No, I agree, sir. I agree. Well, we're not drunk, but we are working our way there. Mr. Santos, how are you, sir?
I am not drunk. I don't have anything else that I could get. I could probably get high if I inhale this fucking fragrance shit that I have for my diffuser. That's probably. Well, it's not gonna be a good high though.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I feel like it's gonna lead to headache. Probably,
a visit to the ER.
Yeah, double vision, right?
Might
Yeah,
take it.
exactly.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Sounds like a night out right there.
That sounds like something different.
Yeah, I can get along with that. Sir, I am. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were going to say.
No. I was just because you mentioned governments trying to trick us into not drinking, and I was reminded of a news bit that I read recently about the government in Japan actually doing the exact opposite. They're actually encouraging young people to have a drink.
Nice. Damn it.
Yes.
I knew I needed to go to Japan.
Japan have it made. Japan. I mean, there is a reason. There is a political reason behind it, of course, is the fact that liquor in Japan gets heavily taxed there. So, of course, that's the government revenue. So they want to tax. They want more people to drink. They haven't had tourists in a while, or at least since the pandemic started, they kind of shut down and not allow people to travel. Which, by the way, I understand also that's changing now in October, in the middle of October.
Yes, I cannot wait, sir, because that puts the right back onto the list for 2023.
Yes, exactly. That's back in the plans. Yes,
yeah, man. I can't wait, bro. That I'm still a little bummed at it. Obviously, I trust things happen for a reason. But yeah, man, I think of all the things that we can be doing, and sir, it's on the list. So obviously, want to include you and Mr. Santos
absolutely. That was the plan all along. Unless Super Mega COVID 9000 releases.
Correct. Yeah. Along with the virus. The psychic monkeypox. Yeah, I got you.
Psychic monkeypox, exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
Megatron,
Yeah, it's. I don't blame you, sir. I don't blame you. Yeah, I agree. But no, it's about time. and because they were closed, and when they were open, you had a 14-day wait period, like mandatory. So it would be useless to go there for 10 days because
Yes.
one, you end up getting stuck for 14.
Second, you have to go to a guided tour. You can just go anywhere. It was like,
Oh, I
nope,
don't think
this
you went
this
anywhere.
place,
You were
this
just
place.
in a hotel. You were just in the hotel. That's it. You couldn't leave for
Oh,
14 days.
like
It's like,
that. Yeah.
what the hell? No. So yeah, that wouldn't have been worth it. So as long as all that stuff lifts, yeah, man, we are so down. We are so down.
All right.
And if there's one thing I want to mention, sir, and I wanted your take on this because I know when it comes to the culinary delights, there's certain things I feel like you would be, just hands off on it. Like,
Connoisseur.
you'd be
What
like,
kind of alternate Marvel reality universe are we talking here? I mean, I've eaten Popeyes twice in a row already because my
whoa,
wife has been very busy and doing her realtor work, and that I have had to fend for myself, and it goes to show how much I can fend for myself when it comes to cooking. So Popeyes twice, spicy twice. I'm gonna be feeling that tonight and tomorrow
You
and
sure?
maybe the next day.
You sure?
So
Well, I don't know if this is gonna help, sir, but I have this wonderful order that I got from Thailand that I'm like so ecstatic when it came in, bro. It is now.
God's balls.
They're called century eggs.
Oh, I was close. I was very close. I almost nailed it.
Yeah,
Holy
you almost
shit.
did. You almost did. Well done, by the way. No, they're called century eggs, and I've been dying to try it. Honestly,
Wow.
dying, and
What
it's
are
weird.
century
'Cause
eggs?
well, first off, they're not a century old, so let's get that
Are
out of
they
the way.
eggs?
They are eggs. Yeah, they are actual duck eggs. Although some of them can use
And you
chicken as
love me.
well. It's the same egg, bro. It doesn't matter. A duck egg will fry the same way a chicken egg would.
Does
It's-
it?
It does.
Is
Quail
it
eggs
harder?
do. Anyway, but it is preserved for a long time. Usually anywhere between 4 to 6 months or something like that. To the point where the shell ends up usually getting another color, but more importantly, the internals really get a different color.
Yes. I think we know what that color is. It's called
Yes.
rotten.
No, it looks it though. Probably. Anyway, I just wanted. I know it's strange, and of course, I'm like desperately trying to get my wife to just agree. She's like, "Honey, it's just a slice. It's gonna be all right. You're gonna like it. I can't get him to have any, man. I can't get him to have any. I'm gonna see if I can I don't want to trick Nick because I wouldn't do that to the poor guy, but I'm gonna see if I can sort of throw it into
Where's
the
him?
dish, you know what I mean, and see if he even. So, the understanding is that it actually is particularly savory as opposed to what you would think it is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But apparently it's
Century old rotten eggs.
I sent a picture to my sister and she was like, "Oh, that just looks rotten." And I'm like,
I think I saw that
not.
picture. I
It's
thought it was meat,
preserved.
though.
Huh?
I thought it was meat.
No, it's an egg. It's an actual. It's a 4-pack. A 4-pack of eggs.
Okay.
And yeah.
How the
So-
eggs didn't break from Thailand to here? That must have been some amazing packaging.
It actually was. Like, it was bubble wrapped the fuck up, bro. I was like, damn. But again, keep in mind that they basically have the consistency of a hard boiled egg. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's just warped in there. It has a consistency of a hard boiled egg. So even if it were to crack, it's not like it's going to spill out or anything like that.
Right.
Anyway, the reason I bring that up is to say, where are you with that? Like, I know,
And, interest level, let's see. If it was between that and eating a fellow human being, maybe
Maybe
then
it's
I
like,
would
well,
consider
if
it.
I were forced to have
I would
to
love to
be
resort
a
to
cannibal,
cannibalism
yeah, yeah.
or eating a century-old rotten egg.
I might consider the egg.
Right. Exactly. Because at that point, I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna take one for the team. I'll kill myself, and you could you
You
could
could
eat
just,
me.
yeah, I will not partake, but I will give.
Yes.
I will give. Oh man, that's funny. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because it was so funny, and of course my wife was like, "What the fuck is that?" When it came in, it's just like, "Did
Is
you
that from Jurassic Park?
exactly, exactly. That's exactly how Jurassic Park started, guys. By the way, started with a
Exactly.
century egg being cracked open for the very first time. Before we know it, you have, dino
Rap,
DNA. No, I'm just
right?
kidding.
DNA. Yes. That's
Uh,
how every Jurassic Park starts.
Pretty
Actually,
much,
all of them.
yeah,
All of them.
pretty much. All right, guys. Well, first off, thanks so much for tuning in. If this is your first time, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. Excuse me. Takes us right to our Facebook group. And of course, please like, subscribe, share podcast with everyone. What we normally do, guys, is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, and of course, we finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's
It's
hot
the hot
topic:
topic.
Diminishing Returns. And I realized I should have probably put a part 2 here because I feel like we had that title before for a different reason. But
Oh,
what we're
that's for a
talking
different
about
reason.
here is Disney Plus, or maybe just Disney
Oh,
in general. We'll call it Disney in general, maybe not just Plus. And
Disney plus everything else.
yeah, what we mean here, of course, guys, is just the massive machine that is Disney, and how more and more the quality is lacking. It's really about the common the lowest common denominator. We need to get it out to the biggest audience, and then
Pretty
suddenly
much.
you're left with a shit product, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
uh you know
Yeah.
Looking at you, Thor Love and Thunder. And people go, "Oh, that's Marvel." Yeah, but that's still the Disney way.
That's Disney,
You know what I mean?
that's
That's
Disney
just what it
property,
is.
and that was a mandate from
Yeah.
Disney.
Oh,
Obviously
I'm
they
sure
bought these properties. They have a reason.
they have a reason. Yeah, and then don't even get me on Star Wars. I mean, at this point, I Star
Way
Wars
back.
is just not even for someone who literally grew up. Guys, I owned a Darth Vader lightsaber when I was a kid, and
Yes.
I could not have been one of a bigger Star Wars fans as a kid. And yeah, man, my childhood, is the only place I have joy in that property right now, because
Mhm.
I don't enjoy it at this point. And it may have been ruined if you really, really think it all started with George Lucas ruining it, just taking the old one, whatever, and then he sold it to Disney, and now they're running the shit into the ground. I don't know, man. I just don't feel that Disney's got my interest, and everything that they're putting out is well diminishing. So,
The Disney of today, it's certainly not the one that grew up with. Certainly a lot more corporate, but we're gonna have a segment for that alone.
for
And
sure, for sure, for sure.
to
But
express our
no,
grievances.
yeah. Let's start with what we always start with, sir, and that is, what have we been up to, Mister
Oh,
Dream Twister?
yes,
What
sir.
have you been doing this week, my friend?
Well, not terribly much. I was
And
playing
back to
Returnal
me.
still.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Wait,
It's
you
not
still
gonna be
playing
every night.
Returnal?
Yeah, I was playing.
Oh
Well, I
shit!
mean, yes and
Now
no.
you're gonna let me down. Okay.
Yes and no. I mean, I've been playing. I haven't been keeping, with it like super hardcore ish. I said it last week. I put the game to see where things were kind of lately, and to see if if why exactly did I stop playing it, because I remember it being a good game, and then I put it in, and the whole time that I've been playing, I've been realizing like, man, this is very close to the gaming pureness of gameplay is on spot. It's on point. um The shooting, feels fantastic. It doesn't matter which weapon you get. Of course, it's a mixture of like arcadey fast reflexes, but somehow a good story being told. Not in the typical sense, not in the typical narrative, but in the bits and pieces that you collect, you're still interested in knowing, okay, what's going on here. It's a good mystery,
Mm-hmm.
and and yeah, graphically fantastic, uh, performance wise also, phenomenal. Like I can't think of any point in the game where with all the flashiness and stuff that's happening that the game ever slows down. Like
Yeah.
it is it is
Legit.
a very polished product, and I was gonna say debut, but it's not really a debut because obviously Housemark has done a ton of games. Uh, this particular in this particular sense of being very arcadey and and maybe not whimsical is not on the right term, but it is like you can recognize a Housemark game,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's always like very flashy and a lot of effects, and it looks very very cool, and the
Yeah,
gameplay
particle
is very
effects,
well.
a lot of
Particle
moving
effects,
pieces. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Getting this one when they were starting to talk about, well, we're not gonna be making those type of games anymore. We want to focus on making like a I don't remember if the words were AAA or anything like that, but it was certainly that they were trying to do a bigger scope game, and we are kind of like, oh, that will suck because we were thinking that, oh, they're just gonna become every other developer then that we already have. Like Housemark was special because their games were special for a
Mm-hmm.
reason, and now they're just gonna do the same old, like, I don't know, another Uncharted or something like that. And no, it turned out that the game was its own thing. It definitely had definitely has the look uh of a high budget game, or the high budget game that it is.
Mm-hmm.
And but it still maintained that arcade feel, and that's the things that it keeps attracting you, keeps you going back, and back for more. The thing with me is that that I need to feel like I'm progressing on the game, and if I start feeling like I'm stuck for too long, my interest starts waning. Not to say that that is a bad game. Like I consider that that what was the year it came out, 2019 or 2020, whichever was the year that it came out, and it was our game of the year,
Yeah, yeah.
and for reason, and I hadn't beaten it, and I think that's what I'm realizing right now, that they because I also don't play consistently. Like if I have a run and it doesn't work out, I just don't go into the next one immediately like you do. Uh like it depends. If it was a short run, then sure, because it's an ovale, that's we do. But if it's a long run that was going so well, and I just got into one of those fucky rooms, and and it killed me, then I'm like, okay, fuck this shit, I'm out. Except it's not shit because it's still an amazing game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fuck this run. I'm out. Is really what
Fuck
it
this
is.
run, I'm
Yeah.
out. Exactly. And twice I've gotten to, I want to say it's probably the third boss or the fourth or the third. I think it's the third boss, and
Trying to remember the
he,
third
he
boss.
well he has three stages, and I can't even get the first one completed. So that was the point where I realized, like, I kind of don't want to continue playing this right now. And then I remember, like, oh, this must be the reason why I left it the last time. But it's still a hell of a game.
Oh, I remember this one. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those bosses that it feels very. it feels like super difficult, but in reality, it's all patterns. Once you
Mhm.
realize the pattern, then then it's no problem. Problem is figuring out that pattern. You can be wasting good runs on it. And you also don't want to like just check. Okay, well, tell me how it is that you defeat it. I did watch the fight because I was curious, but I don't want to watch like, oh, this is the way that you cheese the boss or anything like that, because
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. No, you don't want to do
that will not be fun. A and B, uh, part of repeating the runs are what's actually making you progress. The problem is that this game could really use a coin doubler because my God, you progress slow. I can't believe I said that. I
that. A
take it back.
coin
I don't.
doubler.
I don't
Wow.
mean. I don't mean that. I don't mean that.
Wow. One of
Experience.
your most hated
One
things
of it.
in
One of those
yeah.
Ubisoft, experience doublers or something. It's just. I just need to feel like the run meant something. It actually like I achieved at least something. It can't feel like I just wasted my time, because the moment it starts feeling like that, then I'm like, okay, then I'm not.
So
I'm out.
from what I recall, and so don't quote me on this because I don't remember everything, but I do remember that the method I started just sort of not figuring out, but sort of using, I guess, was I usually explored as much as possible in the level,
Mhm.
whichever biome I'm in. So I can kind of start getting used to what's out there, what I'm going to be running into. And then once I kind of had a good understanding of it, then I would be focus on an actual run to that particular boss. And then what I would do is that's what I do. It would be shortcutting it through the first area. The moment I see I have the portal, boom, jump into the portal, go into the second area. Moment I see I have the shortcut to get to the end of there, boom, jump into it. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
now
yeah,
this particular run isn't about exploring. It's about I need to get to that boss and I need to optimize everything I can along the way.
right.
And I would let what comes become what I use. The one thing I learned later on was because I was always sticking with certain guns because I kind of liked them more. I just kind of get used to it. And it's like, no, the guns in specific areas tend to spawn because they tend to actually be useful in this
Right,
area.
right.
So instead of switching whatever, it's like whatever main gun I would get, I would like, obviously not the pistol, but the whatever main rifle, whatever. It's like, okay, this is the one I'm handed, let's do it. And then adjust my gameplay based on that. And then one, you end up getting good, with pretty much all the weapons. You just kind of understand how you have to use them. And secondly, when you go that route, yes, you're a lot of the exploration one is going to take time and all this stuff. But once you have just the boss run one, then that's all you're focusing on, just the boss run. You know what I mean? And you
Right.
get through those first couple, those the main areas faster because you're not actually, you know what I mean? You're not actually exploring, and that's not what this run is about. This run is about getting to that boss. And so when I did that, I realized, oh, okay, this is okay. I can do this. You know what I mean? This is not a thing. And because of that, because you were getting to that boss a little bit faster. Um, if you die to him, it wouldn't be like it's okay. I'm still heading back to this. These runs are all going to be about just getting to that boss. I'm not exploring. I'm not trying to do whatever because I can do that at any other time. You know what I mean? Right now, that's my goal.
Yeah, if it's a biome that you have already explored enough, like eventually you'll get those parts along the way.
Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
the game. Oh, sorry.
no. I was just saying, but that kind of helped with me doing it, and as you mentioned, the gameplay is just so electric. It's just so good. It's just like I don't know. There's just something about the way Celine moves and the gunplay, and it's just like it's different. It feels arcadey, but not. It's a little more strategic, and yeah, man. There's just something
Yeah.
about it. There's something really magnetic about it that I
There's
just
a
kept going back.
there's a pureness
Mhm.
to the gameplay. That's what I meant when I say arcadey. I don't mean it in the sense that it's like, oh, it's cheap kills just to take your quarters. It's more of the, oh yeah, this is survivable, but you need to be good at it. You need to hunker down and and learn the ways, but it's also not overwhelming you with different types of setups and inventory and a bunch of special moves that, oh, you don't know the exact combination of buttons to press to use the whatever weapon. It's like, no, it's nothing of that sort.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
you know is the definition of easy to easy to play, hard to master.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Easy to learn, hard to master. Yeah.
To learn how to master, right. So that's Returnal. I do, I still playing it, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna come back. I took, when I heard you last week about you run with Demon Souls, it kind of like woke on me this curiosity of like, oh yeah, Demon Souls. I remember I was having a good time. Another one of those thoughts of, why did I actually stop playing? Like, what happened? And then I put it and I played it for a little bit, and I fucking realized what happened. Demon Souls is, as you've already described last week, it is an outstanding looking game. The game looks phenomenal. It does exactly what is meaning to do to as a remake, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You
Improves
would call it
on a few things, few quality of life things, but for the most part,
well, I was looking at a comparison video of the original Demon Souls on PS3, and I was like, holy shit, this is quite an improvement. And I don't mean just graphic wise. Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of things that are will be considered quality of life improvements.
Yeah, for sure.
The only thing I wish they would have actually addressed a little bit more is the enemy AI. And I feel that in true sense of wanting to keep everything as close as possible to the original game, they probably didn't mess too much with that in general. Like, yes, there are some boss fights that are a little bit tweaked here and there, but for the most part, I encountered enemies that just that boss fights sometimes I will freeze, and I'm like, okay, are you gonna attack me? Or am I just gonna, this is not gonna feel like a win if I just like destroy you here. Oh
wow.
Okay. Or in the worst case, the boss fucking disappear. I had an encounter with a particular boss that you have it at first, right? And as you're attacking, you gotta you're gonna want to try to take him out quickly, because another one of the same joins in like mid fight, and that could become very fucking annoying. So it is in this area that is like it's like high ground, which is
it's on a bridge. A bridge with no railing, mind you, of course.
Bridge with no railing, exactly. Yeah. Worst space to put a boss fight in, because the fuckers also like to push you off. And sometimes it's not the fucker. Sometimes you are your own fucker, because you are trying to roll and you roll out. Like, I went there in human form, all right, which gives you more and more of your HP and everything, and like the fucking fight didn't last 3 seconds. I died because I threw myself off. So that was on me, but also fuck that stage. It's not like a supremely hard boss either. It's just, it was annoying, and I'm playing a caster, because I'm playing a sorcerer, which
That
is
particular build that you as a caster, if for that type of enemy, is it's night and day. Yeah, your opposites. Yeah, they're hard.
it's annoying because the enemy attack fast, which means that you constantly get interrupted. I mean, when you hit like a truck. Let me tell you. But you're also squishy as fuck. So when they hit you, they mess you up. Uh, anyway, I managed to get one of them down, completely, and then the second one, I guess the fucking coward just stood there, like in the air, and he flew away and never came back.
Which is funny because I think that's where so go ahead. He never flew back, but nothing ever happened, right? It wouldn't continue, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, at some point, I know he's gonna come back because the other fucker did the same thing. He just, he will go up and then he will get me from somewhere. But I went from being tense because the boss music is still playing throughout the whole thing, and the boss music in the Souls games are meant to like keep you on
To
toes,
keep
like,
you tense, yeah.
fuck. And I went from being completely tense to like being like, okay, are you gonna attack? To releasing the controller, to like literally walking out of the room and going outside and going to pick my mail at night, and coming back, and I was still alive. I was still there waiting for the boss. He never showed up. I waited like 15 minutes. I was like, fuck.
That's
And
way
then I
longer than I
thought,
would have waited, but
a little bit longer than you would have waited, right? Exactly. But it was such a good. It was like I didn't want to. This was my second encounter with him. It's the first one. I'm trying to measure whatever. I don't know what to do. But the second time, I was already like wanting him down so good that I was like, okay. And he had half or three quarters of his health gone. Like I didn't have to do much. Like I could have casted from far and killed him if he would have been there. But no, he left, and then I thought, okay, maybe I just need to reset my game, save and exit, go back in, and go back through the fog, and he'll be there with half of his health or whatever. It's gotta be kind of cheesy, but hey, at least I would have unfucked it. Well, no. I saved and exited, came back. The whole fight with both of them started over, or with the first one, which I thought I was like, okay, this is you. I'm gonna end you now. And nope, then here appears his other half. It's like fuck. And I got killed, and then it becomes annoying because now I'm angry. So now you know what, you're playing those games angry. You're not playing at your best.
I don't know.
You're
I'm
fucking
always
up
playing
a
those games
lot.
angry, so
Well,
I'm never not like tense and mad and just pissed off.
well, tens and yeah, but there are boss fights where I feel like I still feel good, even if I lose. I still feel good because okay, fuck it, you got me, but I got you, measure. Like I know what to do. I know what to do.
I feel
In
like
this
that's
one, I was
why.
taking a little bit of life because again, I cannot cast. And I was the weapon that I was using. It was still hitting enough. It was still hitting enough.
Yeah, I feel like they had sort of in Demon Souls they didn't, but in future ones they did. When they're like now, I think I don't know if I remember seeing in Dark Souls 1. But I know in Dark Souls 3 and I know in Elden Ring, there were the occasional boss that would fall off an edge or that would essentially, or even an enemy, like a strong enemy would do something and it ends up killing itself.
What do you mean? Oh, that the enemy killed itself?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that Dark Souls
And
one had that.
in bosses as well. Like it
Right.
would be a random boss that just falls and oh shit. Well, I guess that was good. You know what I mean? I mean, it's so random and obviously everything has to work in the same way, but it's like I feel like they coded it in there most likely because of this, because it's like, oh, people had to redo it. Because if in this case he probably fell or went or glitched out of the way, and it's like, all right, well, now you can't continue, you have to start over.
Mhm.
And in this, and if if From Software were to get a chance to go back, they would probably implement that. Well, if he glitched out of there, then you win. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, it feels like a cheap win, but it's a win. I don't know if it was you or Chaos that had something similar with the giant in
Fire
Elden Ring.
Giant. Oh yeah, yeah. The Fire Giant. I ended up finding out that it was that was actually a glitch that
Yeah.
happened on my second playthrough of Elden Ring. My Fire Giant like went into phase 2 and like his life bar went completely off like down and he died. I was like, I didn't even touch him. I'll take the win though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, but I feel like, again, that was something they most likely implemented, and I wonder if it has to do with this. I wonder if it, again, these guys didn't really change much when it comes to the mechanics,
With the
outside of
glitchiness, like trying to address
yeah,
glitch, yeah, because
exactly,
it's worse to keep you to have you stuck because then you're like, okay, well then
yeah.
what's going to happen? Um, I was eventually able to beat the boss, and it turns out that the best thing I could have done was actually casting. So I just needed to do it from far away, so that I will have time to cast and be very mindful of the ledges. Uh, and then I went there, and then I did the fire boss. I don't forgot what it was called.
Oh, right,
And then
yeah.
fire dragon god, which was like like it was a stupid one of those how do you call it
They're like area bosses. You know what I mean? It's not. It's You just have to survive to get
it's
to
almost like a
certain.
novelty boss fight. It's like
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
not really, this
You're
looks like
not
a
really
boss fight
fighting
and
him.
stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly.
all you got to do is just press these buttons or check this. Like the skill is more of finding out what exactly you need to do rather than executing like special moves or attacks or
Hmm.
um
Yeah, I
so
didn't
that
care for that
was,
boss at all.
yeah, he was annoying once you figure out, oh, he's,
The
it's
Dragon
stealth,
King.
you
Yeah.
gotta, you want to be stealthy, so then it's super easy and kind of like you say, it's kind of disappointing. um and but yeah, then that was it. I like I was ready to go back, but I wasn't like feeling the impulse too much. Like it wasn't like, and then the next day I received earlier than expected a, package from Amazon with
No.
my uh, brand new uh, Xbox uh, Elite controller 2.
Oh, the Elite.
Yep, yep. This was one that
Interesting.
I had. I'm always buying shit from Amazon, so I constantly have points. So I have a plethora of points, and then this got released, and I was, remember we were having the conversation of like, shit, our this generation's game paths are kind of shit.
Yeah.
um and I have broken my Xbox controller, the other day, and try to fix it and fixed it because it works and the thing works, but it doesn't like feel the same. So I was
Mhm.
kind of disappointed at that. So I saw the opportunity to grab that, this one, which is, by the way, they call it the core model. Um, it's not the black one that has like a bunch of like things and pedals and stuff like
Oh,
that that you can
really? Okay.
attach to the back. No, this is a white one, a white and black. Actually, when you look at it, it looks like it looks very close to the scheme of the PlayStation controller. Actually,
Mhm.
um, but and it is the exact same controller as far as the Elite. It's actually the exact same Elite. The only thing that it doesn't include, like I said, is it doesn't include the pedals on the back. It doesn't include um the the where you put it, where you put it in to safeguard it. What's that
The
called? The
case?
package, the case.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. Mhm.
Words, the thing. The
Words are
thing.
hard.
Yeah, it doesn't include the case. It doesn't include the original D-pad, because the thing comes with a circular D-pad that I didn't think I was gonna like, and or you can swap it. It's like magnetic, where you can just very easily like just take it off and put the D-pad and the normal D-pad, and it works like a normal D-pad, uh and it stays. You will think, oh, magnetic, that gotta come off when you're playing. Like, nope, that's like, once it's there, there's no fucking way of moving it out unless you actually pry it off. So, and it was mostly curiosity. I wanted to see. Actually, that's not true. It is. I was tired of having broken
Breaking your
two
controllers.
Xbox
No, I'm just
controllers
kidding.
already. Yes, two Xbox controllers down, one PlayStation controller down. I was tired of it. So I wanted to see if this was this any different? Is this just all looks but in the inside it's the exact same, and it feels just flimsy? Like, I want to find out. So I bought it, and I tried to have it in my hands, and I gotta say, bro, like, I was not well, I shouldn't say. I didn't buy one day one when they was announced. Like, I thought like, okay, cool, that's cool that they has it, but it's still way too expensive, because the price of the original one was like $180. First it was $200, and then it brought it down to $180. This one was $120, so that's the price of two fucking regular controllers.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, but no thanks. I never like believed in going that route. Having tried this one, I could tell you right now that whenever that PlayStation 1 hits, that's gonna be a fucking day one for me.
Oh, yeah, it's already a day one for me, but I know what you mean.
you pre-order, yeah. I mean, I want to make sure this is assuming, and I have no reason to believe not. They wouldn't do the same. That they're actually doing a similar thing to what they're doing here. So, before I continue with games that I've been playing, I'm just gonna do a side review of the Xbox Elite Pro Elite 2, whatever the fuck is the name of it. Who cares? The thing feels as opposed to a general game controller where you feel the heft, but you know that the heft is just the batteries that you're putting in and whatnot. This one feels hefty, not heavy, because heavy will fatigue you from playing, right? But not heavy, but it feels like, also, I don't want to equate heftiness with quality. But I have no better way to describe it. It feels like it could take a beating, that might not be the case. I might fucking destroy it in next week, and I will tell you about it, and I will absolutely report on it. But it definitely feels in my hands that it can actually, that it could take some abuse. Not that I abuse my controllers. I'm not breaking my controllers. I'm just using them.
Look
I'm not
here,
breaking
Gorilla
them.
Grodd. Let's be real. No, I'm just kidding.
I just grabbed real hard. Everything feels like you would expect to, as far as the triggers. It does have a thing on the triggers where you could sort of lock the distance that it travels, which I like, but I also don't like, because I like when you're pressing a full trigger, you hear just a full trigger. It's a soft sound. When the moment you put a cap on the trigger, it actually sounds it sounds horrible. It's a hollow sound, because it's hitting against whatever mechanism it has that it stops the trigger from going from engaging all the way in. It's hitting against that, but they didn't use any sort of dampening material on it, so it sounds like palitos or cosas.
Yeah, sounds like a toy. Sounds like you're messing around with a one of the
hollow.
Atari joysticks.
Yeah. Yeah, the sticks to the switches to move it. Um, they're very sturdy. Also, they're not easily. They're not gonna be things that you might easily activate. While you're playing. Like there's nothing here on this gamepad that feels like, oh, I might activate something by accident or it's not the same. The buttons, they feel like exactly the same. There's no difference on the buttons how they felt on the PlayStation on the regular Xbox gamepad. The the sticks though, the twin sticks, oh my god, they feel awesome. it's kind of the reason why I'm not playing anything else right now. Like I didn't went back to Demon Souls, which I totally should. It's just I want to feel this more. Like I love the way the sticks feel. Like there is some fucking well engineered design. I don't know what it is, but and also it's not like it uses the latest technology that I know of exists right now. AB Do has a gamepad that uses Hall effects, which is basically it will prevent you from having drifting issues because you use magnets instead of well, whatever is the mechanism that
Whatever
this
the other
uses.
one. Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say I don't think I know it.
So you will wish that I hope that, which by the way, side note, I really hope that the PlayStation One uses Hall effect switches because that would be amazing. Hall effect switches uses magnetism to tell the gamepad where where you're pressing the stick, um, and because you can read it in an analog way, and but nothing is rubbing against. I mean, there's no contact. They're magnets, so the response is amazing. But they did a really good job with this one also. I fucking love just moving them around, kind of like fidgeting with it, just because of how good it feels. They have a they have a weight to it that makes it feel like they're longer than they really are. They're still the same size, um, but it just they did really good. It's my favorite
Nice,
part.
nice.
It's one of my favorite parts. Another one of my favorite parts is, believe it or not, is that actually circular uh D-pad
Mm-hmm.
or directional pad. Like I didn't think I was gonna like that circular pad for it, but it turns out it works really well. And like I said, even though you're putting it in and it magnetically locks in place, like there's no risk of it falling off or when you're playing. Especially like me, where you grip your controller so hard you break it. So that's really that actually re- really feels nice. I do want to order the components because they said the stuff that doesn't come out with the controller. That is the reason why the controller is $60 less, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're selling you that separate.
Oh, so
So
there's
and it's a
like a kit.
$60 core component. I forgot what the name of the actual item is, but it's almost it's six. It's the Xbox Elite Controller Series 2 complete component pack. And it comes with the case, and it comes with the pedals and the joist and the actual D-pad that looks like a normal D-pad. It comes with a charger. Oh, I mention the thing is actually doesn't use the regular batteries. It's actually what must be a very big battery in here because I mean this thing is weighty. Um, I don't know how I feel about that because I also do like the idea. I mean, I like this. I like the fact that I don't have to be buying batteries, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but I also like having the option of, well, if I want to use batteries because they last me longer or whatever reason, because I have them, I could use them. And the older
Interesting.
game pads have it to where you could use a chargeable one, a rechargeable one, or you can just put the regular batteries. This one doesn't. This one is completely enclosed. This is the batteries in there, and you better hope that it lasts you for a while because there's no replacing it.
There's none.
Um, the oh, evidently you can unscrew the sticks. Also, you can unscrew them and put a taller ones. That it also comes with that complete component pack. Like at first I was like, I don't need that because I'm not gonna. But I'll probably. I'm waiting for my next batch of points to put at least, if it gives me like a $20 discount on it, then I might grab it. I might grab it and fool around with it. And lastly, the grip, the actual grips on the side, like if you know how we praise the dual shock, or not, it's not called the dual shock now, is it? The dual sense. Thank you. You know how we praise it for being like nice and grippy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feeling good. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels good. This thing feels phenomenal.
As it should for its price. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
This is I'm describing a premium product.
Mhm.
So therefore, it better feel premium. Now, again, I will report if I manage to break it. I will tell you about it. But it's another one of those reasons why I'm actually playing games that allow me to use it because I just want to use it. It feels so fucking good. It's just, and I swear, it's not. Oh, it's the new thing. So of course, it's not that.
A little the new thing too. Come on, let's be real. It's a little bit because
it could be okay. Well, maybe it could be, but I will tell. But I mean, because you comparing it will be a fucking waste of opportunity and chance and time because you were never into the original or the Xbox controller, so it's probably going to be wasted on you. However, once you have that same experience, if Sony manages to actually do it, and once you see that premium experience, that's it. You're not gonna go back to the other controllers. So if you pre-order it, if you pre-order it, shame on you. You probably should have seen reviews first. But no,
I did not pre-order. I mean, I said I was going to pre-order, but I have not. Obviously, I'm going to wait.
Yeah, it's probably good to wait to see. But if they start describing it, if the good vibe is there, then yes, I mean, we play games. That's what we do. That's our main hobby, and we have been going through what already feel like I am 3 game pads in, or out, I guess.
So the question is this: if you do happen to break this one, at what point do we say it's really not the controller? At what point do we go, I feel this is user generated?
If I tell you, okay, so I'm not gonna take blame for drifting issues.
No, for sure. Yeah. No. Even I had that. Yeah, even I had it.
Yeah,
well, I think I had it. You had it. Chaos had it. So, and that's a common known issue. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, my issue would be more the buttons. And I think I lost 2 buttons. So
wow.
I will say I will if this one depends on how it breaks. If it's another button, but see, I would expect this one to last me though. The other ones, whatever, they're probably trying to cut corners. This one should not fucking break as easily. All right, or it should be a little bit more rugged. I'm hoping.
Oh, bro. Hold on 1 second, sir. Hold on 1 second.
Oh,
does the thing show you offline?
Wait, who? Me?
Yeah, Zencaster.
No. No, it is. It's recorded.
Is it's a string? Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure because it,
La,
it
la, la,
says
la, la, la.
it says something in my side. I'm like, oh, please tell me that it's not doing that. Okay, all right, we're good. I'm sorry. You're saying, go ahead,
It's
continue.
good.
As long as you
All
see
right.
it recording, you're
Yeah, no, we're recording, guys. We're
right.
live. We're okay.
All right, we're all
We
right. We're
haven't.
good.
Yeah, yes, we're okay.
Okay. I got scared for a
Anyway,
second there. I got like really like Zencaster, like in my heart. But go ahead.
we would have been like, "Fuck this podcast." Another unheard episode. Final thoughts on, or I guess score. I've used it, enough to where I feel like I can score it. Or maybe I should give it more time. I don't know. I'd say preliminary is very fucking positive. I'm leaning 4.5 on this thing.
Nice.
I'm very impressed, and like I didn't think I was gonna be. Honestly, I thought it was just, oh, this is just the same controller but a little bit fancier, and yeah, the grip's gonna feel different. But no, it's not that the grip feels different. It's that it actually grips, and it is really good. It's because I found the grippiness of the Xbox controller to be a little coarse, a little too sandpapery, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was never like super like it was okay, it was nice, but it was, you grab a fucking dual sense, you know what, the level of like smoothness but still grippiness, like it achieves that balance, you know. And this one is a little bit coarser than that, but without feeling without feeling more uncomfortable. I don't know. It's a really good thing to have on your hands. I feel like there's so many jokes in that. So because of that, of course I needed to
I wasn't
play.
going to, but damn it.
Well, the audience did, so I just gave that to them. You know, I mean, Chaos is having a field day right now.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And Dark is better don't listen.
Cue to future David receiving this message. What were you talking about on the
Yes, all right.
Oh, that's funny.
Shout out to Chaos and Dark always.
Shout out.
So I needed to play something, obviously on PC, and you know, I tried the usual things that I was playing. Like I played a little bit of Spider-Man. I played a little bit of Forza, and then I've been telling you that I've been playing a game where I died many times, almost in a loop. And there was a game that got that's a game that got released on a while back, and that I've played a while back.
Almost in a loop. Okay. All right. Gee, I wonder what that is.
I've been playing fucking Deadloop. All right, there you go.
You think? Jeez.
I mean, I'm giving you the lead, like right there, like
Oh
on
my
a silver
God.
platter.
That's funny.
I've been fucking playing. Why am I playing Deadloop again? You might ask. And I will answer with, I've been asking myself the same question. Deadloop. All right, so Deadloop was recently out, or recently got released on Xbox. I don't own an Xbox, so fuck that. I've been playing Deadloop since it came out on PS5, except that I was playing it on PC. But I think I told you that around the time that the Xbox version was out, they were going to have some new content. They were going to release some sort of like definitive edition or whatever. Well, they didn't do that exactly, but they almost did, because they have actually added some stuff and changed few things. Added a few new weapons. I understand there is like a couple new enemy types, and they might have tweaked things here and there. And also the game now supports like DLSS technology and stuff like that. I wanted to see how it played, to compare how different it was from my experience. And I figure, okay, well, this time I've played this game and I beat it. I scored. I think I scored it a 3, if I remember correctly. Like I said, this game is fine. This game is good, but it's not the tens that everybody was like praising it.
Yeah.
You know, um, but I knew like there was something that kept me playing. If you remember, like I wasn't like dying to like, oh my god, I'm having such a great time. But for a while, we were talking about games we've been playing, and I kept saying, yeah, I've been playing Deadloop. I've been playing Deadloop, and it's like, why have you been playing Deadloop for so long? And it is, I don't know, it's something about that. There's
Loop?
something
Something about that
inherent.
loop?
It's something inherent about that loop. Yes, he just keeps me going back. Oh, I see what happened. There you go. I am stuck in that loop. There's a level of charm to that game that I cannot deny. I enjoy quite a bit. First off, the characters and the banter of the main characters, I would say more than anybody else. The other ones, the visionaries, they're okay, but freaking Colt and Juliana, it's got to be one of my favorite pairs in video games in a while. One off. Because I really enjoy, especially Colt. I really enjoy his banter overall. Like it is witty, it's well written.
Yeah, for sure, and well acted, for sure.
Well acted, absolutely.
I think we both made them the best character of the year when they came out. Yeah.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I remember this year. I might be putting them for best old game that I've been playing.
Yeah.
Because and I decided, of course, I said, well, last time I played keyboard and mouse, obviously, new gamepad. Let me just go gamepad and have that console experience, quote unquote, if you will. And without a doubt, the game controls really fucking well on the gamepad. Turns out, I mean, it was primarily built for consoles, so and it shows. It definitely shows how everything is. Aside from obviously not having the precision that you will have with a mouse, but everything else feels like really, really, really good on that, and it runs better. I wouldn't say I don't think they nailed the performance 100% just yet, especially for how that game is kind of last gen looking when you think about it. It's not really trying to put the envelope on anything graphical.
Yep.
And yet there for some reason there are areas that still run like shit, and it shouldn't for the type of game it is. Like, it totally shouldn't. But and the only reason I'm able to push through is because I'm throwing horsepower at it. So that was a little disappointing, but I am enjoying my time with it quite a bit. I am I found different, like when the first time I played that game, remember, I was a little lost into how I should play the game, because I was thinking that, I need to come up with a way to, like, I need to explore and unlock and find a way myself to be able to try to align all these people together so that I can kill them in one loop. And it turns out that nope, that's not what the game is at all. The game literally,
that's the problem. Yeah.
it literally hands not literally, but like it will direct you towards your next objective all the time. You just need to select what you want to do, and that's what you want to do. Oh, the game will tell you. So there goes any sense of, I figured out a way to take him out in a really cool way. Like, unfortunately, that's not the game that was delivered. I wish there's part of me that wish that would have been, that would have been that thing that would have been a little bit more interesting. There's a portion also that it's okay with the way that it is, because now I'm finding it a little bit more narrative. Like I'm paying more attention to what's happening, and now that I realize that, oh, I was always in control of where I should go next. Like there was no need for me to be exploring unnecessary areas. Um, that's not to say that you shouldn't explore at all. Obviously, that's encouraged because you get more residium and you get, a little bit more explanation of the world. And I feel like unlocking that shit.
I feel like
It was
at some
boring.
point you get so much receiving that you just don't need it anymore. Did you
That's
know that
true,
happen?
exactly, and that was the problem with, if you spend too much time exploring every time you go into a run, then you're gonna over OP yourself real quick on that game, and that's not the what I would call the ideal way,
Mm-hmm.
the efficient way of approaching that game. I do like, however, like Returnal, that this game allows you, it allows you to have a sense of progression, in allowing you to keep your weapons, when you unlock them. Like you have to unlock them for, like, there is a mechanism that you have to do, you know uh but once you do, you kind of keep them, and even that simple thing makes you feel like at least my run was not wasted, you know that is something that I wish that would have had in Returnal. Even though, who knows, that might have made them that might have made that game too easy, then probably, who knows, because let me tell you, that loop feels like it's difficult, because and you think it's roguelite. It's neither difficult or is a
Yeah,
roguelite.
it's not hard at all.
It's
Yeah.
not hard at all. There are plenty of ways to go around the way you don't, you could, like, there's a way. It's probably easy to beat that game without dying, except for maybe the one um area where you're supposed to die to be able to pass the stage, if I
The
remember
what?
correctly. It
Oh,
was
when you're
one.
supposed to die, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like a scripted death. You have to.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't know why I'm playing it again. I know I'm having fun with it. I can tell that's what it
That's
is.
all that
At the end of
matters,
the day,
man.
it's fun. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not here to say, oh, I'm gonna beat it again because this game was amazing and stuff like that. No, um, I am realizing that the brilliance of it, like, no, it was never a fucking 10. But it was a very well done game that like he had, like, there were some elements of it that you will think about it even when you're not playing, and that's
Mhm.
not to mention the fucking hypnotic music that it
Music.
has,
Mhm. Doesn't
which
have good music, that's for sure.
dude, it has, yeah, it has excellent music, and especially that tune that, it's always in my head. So whether I want it or not, it's always playing in my head, and it's a tune that it plays throughout the most of the game. When you're playing it, it is very, very well done. I'm sticking with my score, obviously, because I already played it and beat it. And that's it for games.
Okay.
I watch a series, or I've been watching a series, or a couple of episodes of a series. I'm not too deep in on it yet to give it any sort of scoring, but uh, I watched The Orville because, of course, you know,
Elsa
I go
Breeze.
for, the safe series. You know me, I go for the safe. Uh, and I heard good things. I actually heard really good things about it. Um, I don't think necessarily all, any of this is going to happen in season one, but maybe season two and forward. It sounds like they're spectacular because I hear very good vibes about it. Anyway, the Orville, if you guys don't know it, it almost feels like a spoof of Star Trek,
Star Trek. Yeah.
specifically the Next Generation. In a sense, it's not. It's meant to be like, there are. It's a Seth MacFarlane joint. So and he stars in it. Um, it's meant to be comedic. Obviously, as you will expect.
I mean, Seth MacFarlane. I mean, he
Uh,
doesn't do serious. So
Well, that's the thing. What I'm hearing is that because the first the episode that I've watched so far, they haven't been too on the nose with the comedy, but they have been humorous in certain ways. Like you could tell, like, okay, this still plays like a spoof. It's presented in an interesting way. Some things, if you like, even if you like shit like Next Generation, like I do. Um, but it's not National Lampoon. It's not that level of
yeah, it's
it's
not
that level
lampoon.
of
Yeah, yeah.
silliness.
It's
It's
yeah.
still it feels decently written so far. Um, but what I've heard actually is that I think once they got acquired by whoever it was, I think the show right now is on Disney Plus, but I don't know if that means that Disney owns it or whatever. Um, uh, but they have switched gears a little bit to it's now a little bit more drama and emotional and still have the comedy elements because it's still at the bottom, at the end you can still see the spoofing of the Next Generation type, but it has a little bit more of a serious undertones. At least that's most people that I've been describing. Oh yeah, actually it is quite good. It's because they describe it like that. It's like, yeah, the silliness of it is not gone, but it's not played as much as it was on the first two, or the first season. I don't know if the entire season is going to be like that. I haven't watched the entire season, but I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it as a person that it's okay with watching something that is good and wholesome and funny, and like I enjoy that. I don't watch TV to get freaked out or I don't want. Not every fucking show needs a red wedding, right?
Oh, I
So
agree. Shit, 100%.
so yeah.
So to answer your question, it was a Fox production, and since Disney now owns Fox, it is now a Disney production. So
Okay, thank you. Okay, wow,
yeah.
That's kind of amazing. The show also, you could tell it was on the TV because he has the TV breaks for commercials.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they still had that anymore, and I'm not gonna slam him for that because hey, The Expanse had that at the beginning. Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Before it
Uh,
became a cable show. Yeah.
yeah. And The Expanse still is the number one
The bee's knees.
best sci-fi anything. I fucking love The Expanse.
Yeah. The Expanse is legit ridiculous. Yeah.
It should, yes, yeah. For all the people, all the people that are still crying about, and I'm included on those. Losing Firefly, like what happened with Firefly? I ask you guys, have you seen The Expanse? Go watch The Expanse, and then we'll have a talk.
And you're welcome.
And you're welcome. Exactly. When's Arcane coming back? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, but they can take their time because I know it's animation, and I know that it probably takes a little bit, but they can take their time. They can definitely. I agree. Arcane season 2. I'm looking it up now because I'm like,
I mean, it was renewed for us season, right?
Yeah, considering its reception, yeah, for sure.
It is
on Netflix. Potential release date. All right, we have a potential release date.
Potential release date. Oh my god!
Here we go with these stupid announcements. Production began in November 2021. Okay, let's see. Please don't expect it until at least 2023 at the earliest.
Oof. Okay, so all right, so relax, sit back, relax,
relax, and enjoy the ride, my friend.
maybe rewatch the first season again.
Yeah,
and have at it.
Have at it.
Okay. All right, sir. I'm done.
Oh, okay, okay. So real quick, just to kind of continue on the watching thing, um, I didn't watch anything new. My wife and I are still just going through Vinland Saga, which is the anime on her list.
Oh,
And it's again,
sure.
it is. It's not my choice. I would never. I mean, I would never
On
even
her
know anything about it.
Crunchyroll subscription,
The
yes.
we don't
Right.
have one of those, but and it's on Amazon for the record. I think yeah, we're watching it on Amazon. You guys should watch it on Amazon or Netflix, one of the two. I didn't know that. I didn't know what the Netflix one.
Mm.
Anyway, dude, this is a good freaking thing, man. This is a really good thing, and he still has his anime moments. You know what I mean? Some what you would normally find in an anime. None of those really, those moments where a character gets pissed off and suddenly their head takes up the entire screen because they're yelling. None of
Yes.
that. None of that
Okay.
happens here. Okay,
All right.
that type of shit right there
That
kind of
Dragon
throws me
Ball,
off.
that Dragon Ball shit. Dragon
That shit
Ball
right there
Z
kind of throws
shit.
me off whenever I watch
Yes.
any anime. So it doesn't have those moments. It does have a protagonist who gets overly upset, just pissed off all the time,
So
yelling
upset. Okay, I was gonna ask you, upsetting the yelling
and the
experiences
yelling.
or
Yeah,
upsetting the.
and I'm sitting there like, why haven't you learned? You need to, and I get it. The character's young, right? That's the reason, right? Most of these characters something are too young, and hot headed, right? That's the common theme, and that's the case here. But anyway, it is very good, man. It is very dark, like dark, and I don't mean I don't know how to say it, but it's just it. There are themes in there, so just a quick sort of recap. There's this group of Vikings who there's one Viking who decides to get away from everything, ends up creating his own life, has wife and kids, a nice little village. But he was part of this group, and that group found him one day and said, that he wasn't supposed to leave. So you either come back or we're going to do something in your village. He decides to go back with them. But it was a trick. This is all early, so it's not really a spoiler. It's just sort of a setup. It was a trick. They end up taking him out, and then you taking him out, and then you're following sort of the son who is kind of on this trek for revenge. But in his trek for revenge, he is literally part of the group that killed his father.
Oh
You know what I
wow!
mean? And it's funny, it's humorous because every so often, the leader who he's desperate to kill, he wants to get his revenge on it, but the leader's very good at what, he's a very good fighter. Says, "Hey, Thorfinn, I need you to go here and do this thing." And he goes, "You know what I want. If you want me to do that, then okay, fine. We'll duel when you get back." you know. And he just goes off to thing. He's obviously very good at what he does, and he comes back. Sometimes they duel, sometimes they don't. Some shit gets in the way. So that's a weird thing. And he was a kid of probably 10 when it happened, and he's like 16 now, so he's been with them for that long, you know what I mean? and
Wow.
and that crew are not good people, bro. You know what I mean? So and he has joined them in doing some of the things, and it's almost like he's
Well,
getting
I don't get it though. Why? I mean,
he just wants his revenge. He just wants revenge. He will do whatever he is not going to let him go until he can do it.
so he will
But he is
join. He
obsessed
joined.
with yeah. And I think what's cool, what's interesting about it is he's what's lost on him, and what's I assume will eventually become things like you don't realize you're little by little becoming the thing you've hated all this time. You're not even realizing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that's an interesting aspect of it. And then there are other aspects of what's going on. There's also it gives you dates and like known battle names. And so my wife and I were like, I wonder if these are. I mean, obviously this is anime; it's taking liberties, but I wonder if these are based on known events. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we started looking up stuff, and we found some names that match. But yeah, little by little, we've been looking into that. But dude, it's good. And I sent you the music. Which is some of the intro and outro music
I
of
figured
the
that was
thing.
coming from somewhere.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's the. I was like, this is a dreamy joint if I've ever heard of Dreamy Joint.
Listen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to be typecast. All right. I've enjoyed my J
saying.
Rock, but I also, you have to understand that was also a face.
Okay,
it,
sure.
it's not. I mean, I don't got anything wrong. There's nothing bad with enjoying some good J Rock. You know, everybody knows
It's really good stuff. It's really, like when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this is kind of too. And then, of course, you know me, every episode I leave it to play. I'm like, no, we're not skipping the intro. No,
that. No, we don't skip. Yeah.
we need to get into the thing, regardless if we're doing 2 or 3 in a row. Like, no, we need to hear this. So that's really the only thing. I've literally watched nothing else. We just, whenever we put something on, I have watched lots of football because we are within that season, ladies and gentlemen. Just to fill you in, I am now 2-0 in my league, so we were off to a good start. Of course, I am now facing my wife this week in week 3, and she's already 33 points ahead of me. So that sucks, but it is what it is.
How are the Cowboys doing?
So we're not going to talk about the Cowboys because they won last week. For the record, they did win. I will say that. I didn't think they would. Especially against someone who was in the Super Bowl last year, and a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. It's like, oh, we're gonna get our asses handed to us, and we won, and we look good doing it. I was like, we don't even have our high paid quarterback. Then you start questioning, like, are we overpaying for our quarterback? I feel like we may be, being gypped here a little bit.
Not the memes now.
Yeah, but we'll see. I still think our season is pretty much done. But anyway, as far as fantasy football goes, I'm doing well, and so far a lot of the big hitters like Joey, which was last year's winner, he is 0-2, so he's suffering. Brett, which is always pretty competitive, he's 0-2, so he's dealing with that. Mark came back, and Mark is 2.0. 2.0, and so he's rolling. So it's been fun so far. We're getting really into it. Matter of fact, tomorrow we have like an outing. We're going to Top Golf, and just like a group of us, and we're just gonna. We're calling it the Trade Talks at Top Golf because we'll start talking trades with everybody. So that's gonna be fun. But that's really all. As far as
setup of where betrayals are gonna be schemed.
Pretty much. Although I think we have good like guards now, because I do have obviously my co-commish, which is Brett, you know what I mean? And, so he can overlook my trades. I can overlook his trades. And then we have the tiebreaker to overlook any trades between me and him, it's so all well done,
You still need to go through you guys. The trades still need to be approved
through us. Yeah. Through me.
What would you consider me like, oh, okay, wait a minute. Was something like what David did to me?
I forgot what he did to you. You have to remind me.
It was like something with a kicker. I don't know names. I don't know people. I don't know. He took advantage of my noble heart.
I don't recall. Trade, honestly, it would have been. I think by the time you were in it, we were already, because we had a really questionable trade at one point. Right. You know what I mean? And because of that, we put the guardrails up, if you will.
Okay, so
that's
where the training wheels came on.
So it's like, okay, because the reality is you don't want to intervene. People want to trade, people want to do whatever. Who am I to tell this person that that's not a really valuable player when they themselves feel that they did? You know what I mean? So you really don't want to do that. But I
was wondering.
There was clearly, because when it happened, people were like, "Whoa, what the heck?" It was like it was like fire in the chats. It's like whoa, what's going on here? You know what I mean? And there was clear manipulation, if you will, for someone who did it. And the reality is, they didn't have it on their bench. I mean, the player, she had them on their bench. You know what I mean? She wasn't using them. So to her, it wasn't a big thing. You know what I mean? So obviously we let the trade happen. It was like no big deal. But now we're like, okay, we got to keep eyes on stuff, And of course, we let the season roll out with that. And then the following season is when we now when the trades happen, we get a notification, I said, okay, let's take a look at it, and whenever there's any question, I literally just reach out. So, explain to me what's going, what are we doing here? And I just, just let me know what you know. And usually, and most of the time it's just accept, and I can see it and like, whatever, accept. But sometimes there's this weird one. And sometimes because there's a weird one, they already reach out, they always, hey, we're sending this. Here's our thought process. I was like, okay, as long as you have a thought process, I'm not going to, we don't want to, Brett and I don't want to do that. We want you guys to, I mean, if because I think about it this way, like the real league has teams like the Browns who make dumbass decisions, but they're still $1 billion company. You know what I mean? It's like, right. Guess what? The NFL commissioner lets them make the dumbass decision. It's like, whatever, that's what you want to do, so that's kind of where you want to be. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, but you also want to hear a little bit and protect as well. You know what I mean?
Where the penalty flags will be up, it's like, or if it was something that you kind of had to like raise awareness, like, do you realize how fucking stupid this is?
No, I wouldn't. I've never have said that. I really, and I remember because it came up, and then I reached out to one party, I reached out to the other party, and I said, just out of curiosity, you're okay with this, with this move?
Out of curiosity, are you out of your mind?
Yeah. And like I said, when they said their piece, and I looked at the history, it's like, yeah, this was a good player that for some reason you were leaving on the bench. It's like, okay. And then, the other person goes, well, shit, they're not going to use it. Why can't I use it? It's like, so yeah. So I understood in the end. It's like, okay, it is what it is. But again, and then because of that, trades are very difficult now. Like, you really got to get people to, like, you know what I mean? Because it's like, no, you're trying, like you said you took advantage of me. And I think I remember this one. And it really was it was a need that you needed, or was it you needed, or he needed? I can't remember what it was. Neither you needed, but he gave you something that you were able to use. The problem is, the moment you got the player, they started not performing like they were before. And bro, that happens. There's nothing you can't gauge that. You know what I mean? It's they can have 4 great games, and then suddenly that's it. We don't hear them. They're having 5 points most every week. There's no way of gauging it. There's no real way. And so, and as you know, projections, right? Projections mean nothing, bro. They mean nothing. They are best case scenario every time, So yeah. So anyway. Enough about fantasy football. Let's talk real gaming. I'm sure no one is awing except for you right now, and I feel like you're being,
No. This I was legitimately, remember, I was the victim.
No. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we had already the guardrails on it. We would have noticed something. Because I think you even asked me, and I was just like, yeah, that looks fine. You're not getting taken advantage of. It's just the player now isn't doing anything, and there was no way of knowing that. It's just no way of knowing that. So, but anyway, so what have I been playing? So first of all, I finished Demon's Souls, and yes, you did. I did, and I gotta say, it's a really good game. I enjoy. I didn't run into the quirkiness of the characters like that. As a matter of fact, that boss, I took him out on my the one you had with the dual folks. I took it on my second try. But I will say that about the game, there were a lot of bosses I took out on the first try or second try. But there are probably a good handful that I did on the first. But like way more than you would expect. You know what I mean? Particularly if I, just not knowing. So it's definitely feels like the prototype, if you will, of what Souls games eventually became from Software. But that doesn't stop it from being exciting. I mean, the character I went
difficult
with,
when it came out originally. I mean,
for sure. And there's a lot of things that they've adjusted that are now it makes it almost easier. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, items have weight, so you reach your item limit. You couldn't carry nothing. Like, you couldn't carry the item because you reach your item limit, and you couldn't send it anywhere. So you have to actually leave the area. And as you know, playing Demon's Souls now, when you leave the area, you're starting from the beginning. When you come back, you're not starting. There's not checkpoints in between. There are major checkpoints, but they're usually, preceded by a boss, basically. And so what was I going to say? Oh, so yeah, so you had that, and those things obviously you don't have to worry about. Now you just send them to the place, and you come back, get them later when you go back to the Nexus. Um, the other things I'm trying to think. There was some other items. There were some of the things that I remember that the rolling they fixed, right. It was all direction. It's all directional rolling now. It wasn't before. It was only 4 directions: forward, back, left, and right. So they obviously
Oh, I
addressed
didn't
that.
even notice that. Yeah, when I was playing, you're right.
Yeah, that was something that I think was on the wish list of many folks when they were talking about the remake. It's like, please address that, you know. And then little other stuff, but overall, I think it was, like I said, really good. The last boss, I won't say anything specific as far as story wise on it, but the last boss is a bitch. And I felt like that's where the spike came. And to be fair, I think it still took me probably 4 or 5 times. But dear Lord, there's this move that he does, and I guess again, it could be technically a spoiler, but it's almost like a warning, bro. So like, just FYI, there's this move that literally sucks a level away from you, sir. And if you get hit with it, it's just losing levels. It's like,
Damn.
yes. And I'm just like, now, to be fair, at some point, you kind of figure out, okay, you kind of figure out the method of just, or the sign when it's going to come, you know what I mean? Just work your way up. But early on, it was freaking me out, and it was like, I'd get killed and go back to the Nexus. And I was 83 when I first got to him. I was 78 when I finally beat him.
Damn.
Okay. So, and not only that, I had over 40 in endurance. So I was so high. I was telling you, I was a high endurance, I was endurance build, and which was great because the weapon I was using, dude, I could swing like 8 times and still have like a little bit left to roll.
Right.
That's how much endurance I had. Which I was like, damn, I don't know why I don't do this in every fucking build. But anyway, that's beside the point. He had it. So early on, I was using a ring to allow me to carry a lot of stuff and not fat roll. You know what I mean? Eventually, the point where I got my endurance high enough, I can take off the ring and put on another ring, which I went with the regenerator ring, which slowly got your health back. In a fight with a boss, it really wasn't going to help because it was slowly coming back anyway. But as you're traversing through areas, you beat a couple of guys here, somebody got a hit on you. Okay, you move a little further and you explore a little bit more, and your health is slowly coming back. So that it was helpful for exploration, not really for boss fights. Anyway, my point is, he sucked so many levels out of me when it came to endurance that I started fat rolling in the middle of our fight because one, he took one enough away where now I'm above 50% of my weight limit, and now I'm just like, fuck, and now I'm searching through the menu looking for the fucking ring that I needed. You know what I mean? And of course, me jodió, he killed me. And then at that point, bro, I was like livid, bro. Just like, because here's the deal: levels still cost the same amount. It's like, because you're going backwards. I was about
to ask you. So
no,
literally de-leveling to the point where
it's gone. I was 77, and at this point, I needed.
That I'm done. I'm done with the game. I'm not gonna. You fucking fuck that shit. Come on.
I was just so.
Holy I feel shit. No, come on. That's just stupid.
Obviously, it's something that probably has never been done again. I don't know, but it was definitely like, I just didn't. You know what it is? I'm trying to remember what it was.
Fucking disrespectful is what it is. It's like, all the time that you spend to go from this level to level. Well, fuck you. We one hit, we're gonna take it out because.
Yeah,
hardcore gamer.
It wasn't until I started fat rolling that I was like, "What is going on? What did he do that I'm now fat rolling?"
Did you realize? I mean, was it also taking life? Because I almost prefer.
It could have, but I mean, that would have been smaller, so I wouldn't have noticed. But yeah, it really caught me. And again, obviously, once you figure out what's happening, and the other thing is figuring out which move is doing it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, what is specifically hitting me with? And in retrospect, I'm going, oh, I should have figured that was the move. You know what I mean? And that
Mm.
move, particularly once you know what it is, it's not really hard to avoid. But at the same time, it's the walking in not knowing, and it's the when you realize it, you just because at some point I started asking myself, if I have to keep doing this, and he's taking levels away, and the levels to like say I wanted to gain it back, I'm like I still have to pay whatever the whatever it would have cost from 84 to 8 to 83 84 is what it's going to cost for me to go back from 77 to 78. You know what I mean? Is it because they're not going back down? It's still whatever the cost was. You know, it's like, oh my god. So
When you go to fight, you go to you got to fight him again. And now you're weaker, and
correct, yeah.
the more you get
Yeah.
your ass handed to you, the weaker you get. Like that. That's
Again,
just that was just dumb. That
yeah.
was like
I
that
don't
was
I don't I don't know
unnecessary.
if I 100% agree with it, but again, once I figured it out and I was like, oh, okay. And to be fair, the boss fight ended up being, again, I think it was the anxiety behind it because I just like I didn't
Mm.
know, and I kept thinking, oh my god, if this keeps happening, I am not going to sit here and grind just to get my levels back, just to go back again. Is like, oh, it was just the thought of it, and I was just like, I think I may be done. I think this may be one of those scenarios where I'm with the last boss, and I'm like, all right, fuck this shit, I'm out. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But no, I was able to beat it, and very cool ending, and I actually captured all of it. It's on the GG site, uh, the final battle and and everything up to the credits. But yeah, I really did enjoy it. It is like I said, it is definitely the prototype. You can definitely feel that the series has progressed significantly since this one. Um,
Yeah, they don't
but
have that bullshit anymore. For
yeah,
once.
yeah, they have also the world tendencies. By the way, by the way,
Yeah.
because I was losing so fucking much, the last world, the area that I was constantly going back to him, the world tendency was going black, and
Mm.
I was getting my ass handed to me along the way back to him
Yeah, because
because I'm now,
it gets more difficult.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just going, why did this dude just randomly one shot me? I was like, again, I was just like, this is now starting to like really infuriate. And the worst part is, as you say, right? You say, I love having progression. At least there's always progression. Well, now progression is being pulled away from me.
Yeah, that's
And sure, I can get it back, but my God, the things you'd have to go through to try to get it back.
no. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. Like there's a point where the game needs to respect the player's time,
Yeah,
and I understand. If the game wants to be like ridiculously uh like cheap with not giving you a lot of experience, or having the progression be extra slow because whatever reason, like I understand that's a design
yeah,
issues, but literally taking away your progress,
yeah. Take
that's
away the
fucking
progress.
asinine.
Yeah. And
that is
I was just
that
like,
is fucking
oh my
asinine, and
God.
I'm glad that they didn't do it again because someone called them off for it, I'm
I
sure.
mean, I assume they looked at it and probably go, yeah, this is probably, because in the end, you understand you understand you're making a challenging game. You understand that. But in the end, you have to have, see, I guess you don't technically have to because your old rogue games, like the real rogue games, you didn't have anything. It was gone. You had to start over from the beginning again. So I guess perhaps in its day, they kind of pulled that over, but yeah, they definitely made some changes to that. But that was a little scary, sir. I'm not gonna lie. That was just, but again, still, I think it was easily the fourth or fifth time that I went back to him.
If
And
I
I was
get
able to.
if I get to that boss, if I keep playing and I get to that boss, I am YouTubing that shit, because you know how many levels I want to lose to it? Fucking zero.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It was in retrospect humorous because I was just like, what you don't realize was happening,
I don't see the
and
joke
then
in there.
the
Maybe I don't know. I don't get it.
I mean, no, in retrospect, I mean to say, the fact that, I started fat rolling and I was just like, what the hell is going, like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was like, why am I fat rolling? And I was like, wait, did I do something? Wait, did I, and yeah. And then that's when I was like, okay, what's going on? Because I knew where I left my levels at, and I just needed to get to endurance 40. And I remember saying, oh, I'll put another one or two. I was back at 38. I was like, oh shit, what? Wait, where did it go? And he could do it multiple times in a fight. Like if it ultimately kills you, then it's like, okay, well, that was just the one time. But anyway,
he could just go all the way until he gets you to level 0.
Yeah. And so anyway, so that's
again.
Demon Souls remake. I will give that one. It was really good. I'll give that one 3.5. Definitely worth the trip. And immediately after I roll credits, uninstall, because that's how I do. So I did try the demo for Wolong Fallen Dynasty, and I recommend everybody. So if you haven't tried it, I think it goes away on the 26th. So you got probably this weekend left if you want to give it a shot, and hopefully this is up in time for you guys to get this warning. But either way, Wolong Fallen Dynasty is a new game from Team Ninja, and I want to say it's Koei Tecmo or Tecmo Koei. Koei Tecmo, yeah. And so I was playing the demo. I didn't play it very long, probably about an hour and a half. I don't like playing these things knowing that nothing is probably going to carry over, and the game's not even coming out till next year. So it's like, wow, this is a very early demo. Yeah. But overall, I think it's promising. Is how I'm going to leave it at the moment. It has its Souls-like flair. There is some differences though. First, I haven't noticed your typical stamina bar, or if you want to go with the Neo version, the key bar or the key whatever. I haven't noticed anything like that. So when we were fighting these characters, I feel like I can swing as long as I need to. Nothing seems to be stopping me, other than the fact the other person's stopping me. So that's one difference there. There is sort of a build-up system, which allows you to do some really cool strikes. By the way, I also have some gameplay on the channel, so if you take a look there if you want to see some of the early gameplay. It does have some of the mystical animal elements that Neo had, so that you're gonna see a lot of the similarities there, also with the movement and some of the sword play. But overall, I mean, I think it looks pretty promising. There's one thing that I think may throw you off, sir, is it's a little parry heavy. Not Sekiro.
Really?
Yeah, not Sekiro, but definitely I think there's a distinct advantage in being able, I think they call it deflecting, but it's the same shit. Being able to deflect. Can you probably muscle through it? Probably, but I feel like the if you can get that timing, which I myself was struggling with, particularly with there's like they have this move they're about to like strike, so that like a red thing, like a red dot kind of comes up, and you just know it's going to be a power hit. Those is either get out of the way or deflect. You're not blocking them shits. So trying to figure that out and trying to figure the timing on that was a little bit of a struggle, but
does it feel like it's I've come some way since parrying. I still don't like the parrying on fucking Sekiro, but then again, I wasn't really enjoying that game either. Even though that game is great, don't fucking fight me. But does it feel like you learn? Like you get a little bit, because there's parrying is cool. It's just when you feel like you're not making progress again, when you feel like you're not finding, the proper timing, that's when it gets fucking annoying.
Yeah, I would say this has a more, how to say, forgiving window. It's still fast paced, but it has a more forgiving. It's definitely not Souls pairing. Souls pairing, you can almost telegraph it. You know what I mean? At this point, which is what I was doing with most of my fights in Demon Souls. I was fucking parrying everybody. You know what I mean? Right. But that's because it's telegraphed. You can see the move coming. Here, because the characters move much faster, that it's the window's obviously much smaller, but there's still hints. You're gonna see the red marker come up. You're gonna see, you're gonna see the swing coming, but it's just gonna move faster. It's not gonna move as slow as Souls, but it's definitely not Sekiro where it's like you need to deflect like 8 moves in a row. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
is it's not
That was
gonna be that.
annoying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is not gonna be that.
Now it's luck. Now, if you have to parry, that may like I'm not fucking Daigo, all right? So I'm not gonna do it.
And I'm not gonna lie, in many of my, I won't say most, but definitely many of my battles in Sekiro, I was literally button mashing the parry. I'm just mashing it because I know I'm gonna catch at least most of them if I do this fast enough. And so that was one way of doing it. With some other characters in Sekiro, it was like, okay, I know this move set, so I'm gonna be good just to hit it when I need to. But bro, it was Sekiro was it. That's not what's happening here. And again, on top of that, there are other methods. You don't need to do it. But deflecting really does lead to cool combos, cool takedowns, cool special moves. And so it is rewarding. That's it. There's also magic, and the magic is way more involved. Like it's literally, you select it and you hit one button and you're firing this magic. You know what I mean? It's not a wind up. It's that I think you need to have some sort of obviously magic MP points, if you will, or magic points. But I don't know what that version is because again, this is just a demo. There's a lot of items within the menus that were locked away, which is another reason I really didn't go too far in it. I was like, this is cool and all, but I feel like I'm getting engrossed, but I'm going to get disappointed because I'm not going to, it's a demo. I'm not going to get the whole game here. So I was like, oh, that's fine. But overall, looks really good. Looks really good. Graphically looks really good. Plays really well, and looks promising. I mean, in the end, that's what I can say. It looks promising. So if you haven't tried it, I do recommend it. Is on it's on everything right now. PC, well, maybe not Switch, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation all have the demo. So definitely give that a shot. And the last thing I have been playing, which I am still playing now, and that is Steel Rising. I did.
Oh shit! You went into it.
I went into it. I jumped into it, and I gotta say, it's fine. It's it's.
Are you reading that from the back of the box, like a quote?
It's fine.
Another one from GG says, "It's fine."
It is definitely budget. But I think in all the charming ways. You know what I mean? Graphically, it still looks pretty good. It's another Souls-like game, very similar to any other Souls-like. You die, you collect a certain thing that you can help power yourself up, but if you die, you leave that pile there, and you have to go back and kind of grab it. So that stuff is there. The game is not hard. It can be challenging, but not hard, and so that's kind of I don't know if that's a knock against. I guess it depends on how you feel about it.
What you're expecting.
Yeah, it does have a story though, which really separates it, I think, from everything else with dialogue trees. And don't get me wrong, it's not like in-depth story, but you actually have cutscenes and stuff like that. Your character speaks to other folks. So the story of this basically it takes place in Paris. French Revolution is what's going on at this point. King Louis whatever is who's who's in charge, and they have an army of what they call automatons. Thank you. And so, or automats. Why doesn't matter? And so the queen has her own automatron, and her name is Aegis. And she is the first and only so far that I've noticed that can actually speak and appears to have free will. And that's who you play. And so the queen sends you out to start figuring out what the hell's going on, because something's going on and we need to help, whatever. And so that's who you are, and you're slowly figuring out the mystery of what's leading to this particular crazy war. In a very action RPG sense. And you have a couple different starting classes. But it's not really a class. It's kind of different. I went with the what did I go with? Was it a fighter? There's a soldier. There's something else. There's a dancer, which I think is the primary one for this particular character, just because that's what she was presented as originally. Um, which moves obviously much more faster. I went with something a little bit heavier. I kind of went since I did the endurance thing in the others. Like, God, I kind of like this build. I'm not gonna lie. So I went heavy endurance in this one, heavy health. I don't know if that's to the game's disadvantage in the sense that I'm kind of not steamrolling, but I'm kind of moving, pretty well through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the you do have your health stuff. There's ways of upgrading it so you can get it back. You get it back at checkpoints. Checkpoints are these awesome little they're in the ground, but when you activate them, they come out. It looks like almost like an elevator popping out from the ground, and has a chair. When you sit on it, these little machines come and start messing with her back and all that, almost like it's like upgrading
Like
her
it's
or fixing something. You know what I mean?
fixing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That's a cool way of doing it. She moves a little weird, and I would argue a lot of the enemies, but then again, most of them are automatrons, and these are not futuristic automatrons, but it kind of looks like they're very like
It looks
you
a
can.
little steampunkish.
Yeah, yeah, it has that. So they kind of almost, and even the character, Aegis, she has that weird, almost stiff but fluid. You know what I mean? Because she's trying to be fluid, but she is also a robot, and the joints probably weren't the same way that you would probably make joints nowadays. In a robot stuff like that. So she most moves like puppet like, and so do some of the enemies, which is kind of cool.
That's kind of
But
cool. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's kind of cool. The what else? The story is interesting, well active. Facial animations are a bit hit and miss, but I think that's typical from Spider. Spider is the developer. These are the guys who did Grieffall, which was also
Oh
sort of
wow.
a Black Horse, or not Black Horse, Dark Horse, RPG, like open world RPG, and which a lot of people liked who did play it, and some people said, it's kind of average. I remember I started it, and I kind of run into the same thing. I was just like, yeah, it's fine. It's good. It's all right.
Yeah. It's
You know what I
it's
mean?
just it's cute type level game.
Yeah, and I was like, and that's I think why I think I like this. First, it's also this particular game is more my 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 genre, I guess, in this point. You know what I mean? Because it is, a Souls light, if you will, because of the elements that when you get to a boss, you're going, you're gonna have to use everything. You die. The basic the way everything works. So you
Right.
have a major boss. It obviously a cutscene. You're like, okay, this is a major boss. You just know it because it's just the way it is. Um, but I wish they would have done some things a little different and just kind of made it their own. One of the things I don't like is, the level design. You have the same thing where you go through certain areas and then you open up this door and that becomes a shortcut so you can come back here a little bit faster, and all that's there. There's different traversal as well. She has ways of like hooking onto something and going far away, and sort of an air dash. And there was this new move I just got now, and I don't remember what the hell it was, um, but yeah, it's. I mean, I like it. You know what I mean? I
And
like
it's
it.
budgetary. And it's budgetary. It's still
Yeah, it in its
something.
budget thing. I mean, it was $50, $49.99. But I still think I'm still invested in what's going on,
Right.
and yeah, yeah. I think I'm obviously I'm just going to continue it. I don't know how far I'm into it, but it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent. I really
You heard it here
do.
first.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I don't think I would say it's trending to a 3. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? It just say it's good. I wouldn't say it's mediocre. Right, 2.5 is a mediocre. I wouldn't say that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like there is intent here. There is uh you know they're trying to do something. Maybe the Team Spiders is not exactly your top notch guys with your top notch developers. There has been some weird little bug things that happened, but nothing that what the game did actually crash on me once. But because it's one of those games that constantly save, it was like, okay, I put it right back where I was.
Okay,
So it
you
wasn't.
didn't miss. I was
Yeah,
gonna ask.
it wasn't severe, and there was. limitations. You know what I mean? There's an area where I get there, and you could just took this cart because that's the fast travel. This the horse buggy, and so I go searching around. I go behind the horse buggy, and what appears as a nice clear alleyway. No, there's an invisible wall, and I'm like, oh, okay, all right, yeah. Little things
Oh,
like that where
invisible
you go,
walls.
oh, that's adorable, guys. You could have put anything here to just make it look like. No, I know why they didn't do it. Because like, well, the carriage had to come from somewhere. It's like, let's not overthink it. You could have put a fucking wall. You know what I mean? It would have just been fine. But overall, I think it's. Oh, thank you, Ben.
And he gets delivered his
Yeah,
environment.
the daily bread. No. So overall, saying I feel I almost, and maybe that's just me, but I almost feel, I don't want to say forgiving, but understanding. Spiders being a smaller team. I can't say independent because obviously they have a publisher, but they do their own things and work with publishers to get things going. And they do good stuff. They're trying. They're not. There's something to be said with someone giving their 110%, even if it's not the best, you still feel like you're playing this developer's 110%. And because of that, it's good. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like if it, like again, like if this was a major developer, like if just an example from what did one of these, is like, okay, guys, this has to be a joke. What the fuck are you guys doing? You know, but that's because they already, it's almost like, well, From had to make their bones in order to get to where they're at now. And I feel like Spiders is doing this is early From in Spiders, and they're just doing their thing, doing what they love to do, and putting their spin on it. And who knows, 5-10 years, the next that Spiders game may be the next Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and for this particular developer.
Right.
And because of that, I'm just like, I appreciate these guys just really honing in on what they want and delivering the experience that they want to deliver, and really making it their own again. Because again, there is a story here, as opposed to any From Software game where you have to fucking piece shit together.
There's an amazing story. You're gonna have to piece it yourself.
Yeah, and fill in some blanks.
Exactly. Yes.
And so here, at least, it's it's a one tail. Obviously, there is no co-op, there is no PvP. It's not that. This is a single player game, straight up and down. And but it is. I dig it, man. I dig it. I'm glad I got it. I wasn't sure at first, but as I'm playing it, I realized I just want to play more. I just want to get through it, want to find out what's going on, figure out the fuck is wrong with the king, shit like that. So, but anyway, that's all we've been doing. And we, ladies and gentlemen, are back, and it is now time for our trailer
of the week that we almost didn't have.
This is for sure. This is he speaks nothing but truth, ladies and gentlemen. Our trailer of the week. I think it's a little more one-sided, and maybe there's a curiosity level on the other side, but
yeah,
it is Clive Barker's Hellraiser.
Hellraiser. Oh no, that's not a song.
That's it's the 80s version.
Oh, there you go. Okay. That was Ozzy Osbourne. So
yeah. Yes, this one's actually being directed by David Bruckner. Coming out this year. David Bruckner, let's just take a quick peek at what he's done. He did The Night House, which I saw and I did like, so
ooh.
I'm happy. Okay, so far The Ritual, Southbound, and VHS. Oh, I saw VHS. That's okay. All right. He's obviously a horror guy, Mr. Bruckner. Set to come out.
So is Clive Barker, I heard.
Yeah, that's right. Set to come out, I don't know, because October 7th, so right around the corner. Really a good time for obviously any horror movie during the holidays of Halloween. Sir, I know these type of movies are not your joints, so I get it. But just your overall thoughts. What do you think of what you saw there?
Honestly, I don't know what I thought. I mean, I don't have a background with Hellraiser movies. Like this is not the type of movies I typically watch. I am curious enough to ask you, hey, what is what is the deal with the Hellraiser? No, what is the premise of the Hellraiser movies? Because I kind of knew of your typical slasher, the Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, like those guys. I know, I understand, but
Mhm.
Pinhead was always a little curious because like I didn't know what the deal with him was, and you explained it to me, and I gotta say it sounds like a cool concept. Now, if you're telling me maybe this
This
is
looks like
a
it's taking
reboot.
a little bit of a reboot almost. But then again, I would almost argue that some of the Hellraisers kind of went their own way with certain things. They included
Mm,
the elements of the box and Pinhead and all that good stuff. But how and why they came to be in that particular movie were a little bit different. And here it looks like they're taking another new step into what the reason why Pinhead gets unleashed. And so I'm curious about that, but it
yeah.
is, yeah, it's definitely, it is. I don't want to say it's I think we said it off air, but it's kind of the lower tier. Like we mentioned, I was like, Friday the 13th. I mean, that was, that was a movie everybody went to see, back when in those days. And then Nightmare on Elm Street, everybody loved the Nightmare on Elm Street early ones, of course. Hellraiser always kind of sat as, third, maybe fourth place, depending if you're a big Halloween fan, because people also love Halloween, Michael Myers and all that. So it kind of sat behind them. It was definitely different, you know what I mean? But it had its own charm, and very gory, which I guess all of them, if you look, every movie I just mentioned every series I just mentioned is pretty much gory. But this one had a different, really, you know, hence the title, very hellbound, thing where you're unleashing the,
Yeah.
these things from hell that can basically, as you see with the thing in the trailer with the chains and all. When I saw the chains, I was like, okay, all right, we're going back to that. Okay, it's a lot of torture. There's a lot of craziness when it comes to that, but it's definitely different and cool to see that it's coming back, coming to Hulu, which is interesting.
Mhm.
I gotta give it to Hulu so far. I've been questioning my reason for the service, and I gotta say, as of late, they have been earning their keep, and then some. You know what I mean, with stuff
Did
that
they
we've
know
been
what will
watching.
happen?
Yeah.
Wow.
They knew they needed to do something, and so far, and so this is coming to Hulu as well. But yeah, that's the reason I had it. This is definitely a guilty pleasure of mine, mostly because of my history with the old ones and back in the day when we
Say,
used to.
for your thirst for blood. Also,
Yes, obviously I had a thirst for blood. Um, so
don't we
yeah,
all?
a little bit. I remember back in the day, was it Fangoria or Fangor? I think it was Fangoria, the magazine, which was
Right.
all about. It was like it's
I remember that magazine. Yeah.
yes, I was big on those magazines, and then I had to sneak them, in my household because of so the Diablo, you can't have that shit here, and so yeah, so I had to sneak
That's
all that
hilarious.
back in the day when I was a kid, but I was all into it. I was all into, and I knew, it's like whatever. This is a movie. It isn't anything other than that. But it was fascinating because it was like, you couldn't see them, and I think that's, what, in many ways, I feel like my fascination with that series was more because it was considered taboo within the circles that I was in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, in the end, like I probably saw, if I had to guess, I saw probably in the last 8-10 years I saw Hellraiser again, the first one, and I remember going, "Wow, yeah, this is not great."
No.
But again, it's a film. But I said the same thing about Poltergeist, and everybody loved Poltergeist, the first one, and I watched it again with Nick, and we were just like, this is kind of not good.
Regret it.
But yeah, it's like, all right, but this is
No,
the
I
movie.
swear, I swear, Nick, this was actually scary as shit. I
You know,
cannot watch a TV, a fuzzy
a fuzzy
screen
TV.
TV
Yeah,
for.
yeah. I was completely scared every time.
Yes, no.
Yeah, yeah. And he's probably like, this fucking loser. But anyway. So yeah, our trailer of the week, guys. Hulu's Hellraiser. Yes,
Hellraiser.
that's
Yes.
part of its title. Hulu's Hellraiser.
Oh, Hulu. Yes, I know.
Yeah. Some quick news bits, just these little things I want to pepper throughout, sir, and I want to get your opinion on. First and foremost, a funny one because I find it funny, although sad at the same time. Babylon's Fall, everybody knows, right? The troubled platinum game is reportedly giving away for free the game at some GameStop stores. As first notice, the American game chain of video game retailers is reporting in the process of throwing away old stock of game which was pulled from sale earlier this month and have been given out for free in many locations. So, guys, I'm just going to let you know here, this is an online service game. So it's not even worth free.
No.
Because no one's on there playing, so you're not really gonna soon the server. I'm not sure the servers are still on. You know what I mean?
I think they're just like, hey, it's gonna cost us more to recycle, so let's give it away.
Yeah. It I reason I bring this up, one, because it's humorous and funny. When to me, when they just don't get what it takes to make an actual live service game, and then you have this is quite literal. Like I want you to think about it a second. Anthem was panned for being the worst prepared online service game of its time. Yeah. And it comes Babylon Fall saying, hold my beer, I can do worse. Yes. And it did worse. That game came out this year. Yeah. And talk about, just the ill preparedness of this team. They have no idea what they were making. No idea what it was going to be.
Do we know that it is a bad, broken, unfunctional game, or was its problem the fact that it didn't have the marketing that probably could have propped it a little bit more?
So I never played it because I'm wise enough to avoid stuff like crash and burns, right? Garbage fires. Nobody ever wants to touch a garbage fire. So I never played it, but I was curious about it. So I wanted to see more and see what people were saying about it. And first off, the game is absolutely, I don't know if you've seen it. It's an ugly ass game. It looks,
everything's gold. That's the one where everything's gold, right?
Yes. But it almost looks old. It's not gold. It's sepia. Everything's sepia. You know what I mean? It's like, that's even worse. Like if it was gold, it's one thing. Yeah. And everything you can see about it looks half-assed, and I think that's probably the consensus. Everybody was just gonna say, it doesn't even look like they tried.
It was just never a good game to begin with. Yeah, it never stood a chance.
Yeah. And in there, that's what I'm trying to say. Is like, this is an example of a team that just didn't know what they were trying to do here. Can you call it a cash grab? I don't even know if you can call it that. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we want in on it.
I think they just didn't know that because and the reason I was asking it primarily is because there have been games that have been very, well, maybe not very good, but like functional, decent. They work, they run fine. It just, it never attracts the people. They have so much trouble attracting people that they don't go anywhere. And the fact that it doesn't have enough people, and you start getting the media, saying like, oh, this game only has 1,000 concursive players, and that's when people start going like, oh, well, that means that it must be terrible. If only 1,000 people are playing it, you know, but it's not that fact that the game was horrible or anything like that. It was just
No,
not
this
marketed
one,
properly.
it's one of the worst review games of the year.
Okay, then
So I
fuck this
mean,
game,
yeah, it's
and
one of
fuck
the
the
worst
fact
of
that
the
it's
year.
given for free because they just don't.
It's
The
not,
GameStop
yeah.
doesn't even want to
They don't,
recycle the
yeah.
stuff.
GameStop who will overcharge you for other shit is like, no, just take it, man. Just go with it, you know. Just you know,
It'll
go
make
have
a
fun.
nice coaster, if anything.
Yeah, because again, I mean, I assume the you know the what do you call it? The fucking servers are still going, but who's on there? You know what I mean? I guess it probably had a nice little bump, you know, with a bunch of people just jumping on, but it's just it's the dangers of investing in something like this and not going into it. I mean, you know, when you look at other ones that are struggling with finding their footing. You know, a perfect example is what do you call it? Oh my god, Halo. You know what I mean? It's like content is constantly being pushed out, and I don't know what the player base is, but they're, you know, I just assume they're jumping in and playing as much as possible. At some point, it starts to teeter out because it's content. Content is so big on that, and if Microsoft is struggling to do this, how the hell is fucking uh Babylon's Fall team? I can't remember the Platinum going to keep up with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just scary, and then I think of Sony saying, "Hey, we want to have 10 live service games by the year 2025."
Yes.
I'm like,
Let
what the
let him
fuck are you
get
doing? Yeah,
let him teach you a lesson. You know, let's déjalo que choque con la pared.
yeah,
Let them hit
exactly,
the wall, and
exactly.
they'll wake up from that.
I guess that's
And
the yeah,
service game.
that's the way to go. But anyway, wanted to bring that up, and you know, fair warning to any other, you know, and you know what? Credit to what team was that was going to do a live service game back out? I think it was the same team that did Returnal. That they were supposed to do a was they supposed to do a live service game? I
Yeah,
feel like
I
they were
think
supposed to do
so.
one, and then they they backed out. Like it was no, I don't remember what it was now, but there was a team, and I can't remember
Mhm.
who it is. So
I might have been
apologies.
Housemark, to be
It
honest with
might have been
you,
Housemark, yeah,
because I think
and
that was the sad news that they're not doing arcade games because they're gonna do gas
a
games
live
now.
service,
Fuck
yeah,
that.
yeah. But then they pulled the plug on it because they realized they're smart enough to realize, okay, this is, you know, this requires more than we can possibly give, and we're not under anybody at the moment. You know what I mean? So and so that was a wise decision on their part, and I just can only hope that other ones that try to do this realize it takes a lot, you know, and you know, even the most successful ones out there had to really work their way to get to the point where they had to endure in order to get to where they're at now. It was not you know, smooth rolling when it comes to money. But anyway, the other piece I have is the September PlayStation Plus catalog has their games coming out, which you actually, I think you mentioned one already. Of course, Deathloop is now available on as of right now, or actually as of the 20th. Assassin's Creed Origins, Spiritfarer, which I will definitely recommend. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game itself, the complete. Just wanted to shout those out because those are awesome games, and if you happen to have the service, they're there for you. And then my last piece of news is a sad piece of news. The movie that you may have heard of, Jurassic World Dominion. Have you heard of this movie? I feel like you have.
That's Dominion.
Yeah, the very last Jurassic Park
Okay.
movie. This movie has officially made $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Further confirming to me that this world is screwed. It's just completely screwed. We're not going anywhere. This movie, who has like a 13%, I don't know, I'm just assuming a 13% on or maybe 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. $1 billion, ladies and gentlemen.
Jurassic World Dominion.
Yes.
This movie made $1 billion.
$1 billion, yes. And
right,
you know, Universal Studios is looking at that going, we made a winner.
Yeah,
We made it
yeah.
in. As far as they're concerned,
That
we
means
made
we're
it
gonna
work.
get more Jurassic,
Oh yeah,
movies. Yay! What
yeah.
everybody wants and expect. Has 77% audience. Obviously because a lot of people watched it.
Probably watched it more than once.
No, man. I think it's listen. This we might be tired of fucking dinosaurs because we have them forever. They're not extinct, but I don't know. There's always new blood, I guess. I don't know how to explain this one. Honestly,
There's no
eh,
explaining it. There's no explaining it. It's the as we get
humanity's
into our
past is usefulness already.
hot topic. It's the mass production of it's like how do we need to get this to everybody. It includes everybody, by the way, right? You have all the new
Mhm.
guys from the more recent Jurassic Park. They bring back all the old guys from the old Jurassic Park. They all come together, and now we have our Avengers version of Jurassic Park. All right,
Mhm.
and that's what it is. It's Universal, so it's not really connected to Disney. Um, but it's still the same.
Yeah.
It's the product that works, and we'll figure out the story and logic later, and fill in blanks here. But you know what? We'll make sure to make this spectacular so that people don't ask questions and they just kind of whatever.
And who
Uh,
knows? Maybe I mean it's. I'm just fucking trying to give it the benefit. I'm playing devil advocate more than anything. I don't give fuck about Jurassic Park. Let me say, not even the old ones. To be honest with you, so fight me. I don't care. I just like I don't care about dinosaurs. All right, it's fine. I'm fine with them existing. Whatever. I mean, in a world where we have fucking Fast and the Furious.
I
Like I
will
don't
have you
care that
know
this,
that those are fun movies after a
is
certain point.
well, it's because they speak to your interest.
Do
So
they?
all of us know that you're a car head, you're a gearhead.
Oh,
Um,
of course, yeah.
the Jurassic World, it might speak to the interest of people that like dinosaurs. I mean, dinosaurs are what, like giant zombie.
Giant birds with no
The
feathers.
giant birds. Yeah. No, but I'm saying like as far as a fat fads go,
Mhm.
people used to we got the group that loves zombie movies, and we started getting zombie movies that we got sick of them, and we got the dinosaurs, and at some point we're gonna get the pirates, and then the ninjas, and that's gonna be my group because I'm all about the ninjas. Um.
Well, that's happened already, so they just got to bring it
Oh
back.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly. That's
yeah.
all. So we
They
just
got
have
to,
to wait until this.
yeah.
th-
So it rolls
Those
back around, right? It's the circle of
exactly,
life. Yeah,
exactly. But again, I must point that if we have franchises like Fast and the Furious, and and that's okay,
yeah. Is
then
it?
you know what? I'm okay with this one also because what the hell?
I am completely against it, and you know what? I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in everybody. I'm disappointed on
Dinosaurs are
Universal.
not
I'm
family.
disappointed and on people who went to see it. The fact that it made $1 billion. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. And
Yes.
then movies like Everything Anywhere All at Once is just thrown to the side. But it is what it
No,
is.
listen, it doesn't. The low. It just goes to show that humanity, you know, and I don't think myself above anybody. I'm just as much as a fucking moron, idiot. Obviously, I mean, look at me. It's just gotta be. There are different shades of us, but anyway, the 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 lowest common denominator. All right, so it's gonna be that. It's not gonna be the movies that we hope and wish we had, or because by the same token, I look at a lot of Rotten Tomato hundreds, and I'm like, nope, nope, frou frou as fuck, mega frou frou, A24, fucking Searchlight, nope. So it's okay. I'm not gonna watch Jurassic World Dominion
Oh,
unless I'm
me either.
stuck,
No,
on
no, no, no.
on a plane or something. There's
Mm-mm.
nothing else play. I don't even know, can tell you,
Mm-mm. No,
but
no. I'm definitely, I
I
definitely
already
not have
know
no.
that humanity is like done, so this doesn't surprise me.
I guess I have some hope. I guess I have some hope. So that's why I found it to
See,
be a little
that's
bit of a.
you fucked up on that one.
I
Man.
guess so.
That's on
Yeah.
you.
That's the
You're having hope
first
in
mistake.
humanity. That's I mean,
That's the
if
first mistake.
2016 taught you nothing.
Apparently no. Apparently no. Well, with that, guys, let's get into the hot topic of the week.
Hot topic.
Hot topic again, guys. Diminishing returns, and yes, we're talking about none other than Disney. Who we were just mentioning a moment
Speaking
ago.
about lowest common denominator, and we
Uh,
just insulted every Disney fan.
no, hey, this
If
is not
if
about the
you're a true
Disney
Disney,
fan.
if you're true, but I feel like you kind of know. You have to understand that if your beloved franchises are being like right now
Watered
they are.
down is what they're
Yes,
being. They're
yeah,
completely being watered down for mass consumption,
exactly.
and it's happening on a ridiculously high level. And I am just depressed by
Yes.
it. So where do you want to begin, sir? Because I don't know if you know, Disney owns everything, so it can pretty much start. You just point at one thing, go there. You go. We'll start that as a starting point. I know that this was a topic that you had mentioned bringing up, and I was like, oh, I think we can do it. We can do that. But what led you to that? What was the defining trigger?
Well, honestly, this could go. There's a couple things that this comes from. One of them was, believe it or not, it was actually the departure of the previous CEO of Disney.
Oh,
What's his name?
Iger, Bob Iger.
Bob Iger. Thank you. Yes, Bob Iger. Because believe it or not, I think when he was around, there was a lot of movements that he made that, even with controversial as some of them were leading Disney into a nice direction. Like it was under him that they started acquiring the mega franchises. No,
Mhm.
and granted, I mean, we probably didn't love what was happening to them, but what was the alternative? I mean, what was the last Star Wars movie that you heard was going to happen after the prequel, and how the prequels got like panned for what they ended up being, right? Like nothing was happening with Star Wars. That was a franchise that Disney saw an opportunity to acquire and actually market it proper into like this, like revive it basically, because again, remember, nothing was happening with it.
Mhm.
So so and then of course the thing with Marvel, and again, this was nascent because Marvel was actually doing kind of fine, was doing fine with their sort of resurgence with the movies that were coming out and whatever. And then I think Disney, as a company, like they realized the potential there, and they just went to the move. And again, we don't like what they did with it, and much less now. but it was a sound decision. It was obviously the right choice to make, and it was a good one for them. Not maybe not for us, because of course we all see what's happening in Marvel. We got to remember that bad Marvel movies that are coming out are not the ones that we still had a range of good Marvel movies that we enjoyed that were still considered, under the Disney umbrella.
Mhm. But there were projects already in the works. One
All
would almost
projects in the
argue at
words,
some
yeah.
point you can almost feel the transition from the
Yes.
pre-acquisition to the post-acquisition, and I think we felt it. You know what I mean? And but I feel like we're now to the point where it's just so. I mean, just going back to Star Wars, yes, the fact that the prequels was the last thing that they had going. It really had not much else. But they had the animations, which are arguably many folks say they were very good. But
Mhm.
now you have that. You have the cartoons. You have the Mandalorian. You have the newest Andor. You know, Obi-Wan, and then now they're gonna do a Shaka because she had an episode and like, oh, people liked her. Let's do a show with her. You know what I mean? Then you have other shit that you never heard of, like the fucking Acolyte, some shit called the Rangers of New Republic. Fucking Lando's gonna have his own shit now. It's like, okay, now we've gone from not having everything to having everything. Just like, but
Well,
where do
that's
I
the
even
thing.
focus? Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing. They bought they spend a pretty money on it, so they want to see. Yeah, and they want to use their return. It's a really good popular franchise that have been dormant for a while, and they just the problem with it is that they're not, there's no respect because they don't have any they don't have any particular respect for it, because to them it's not about that. To them, to Disney, the Star Wars, in this example we're gonna continue to talk about Star Wars. Star Wars is just a product to be exploited. And granted, yes, it was always that, but there was a little bit of reverence, still before the acquisition. They were not you were not getting a just a shit lot of Star Wars movies and properties and stuff. And I will argue that even the prequels, as as not great as they might have been, they have some thought process and care and love into it.
Mhm.
They were not
I
just
agree.
making it to sell toys, even though yes, that was actually the other thing that
That was
Star Wars
a
was,
yeah.
was
On
doing,
top of that,
obviously.
yeah. Mhm.
But that was not like the main decision. They was just not blindly putting it out there, which is what's happening now. What's happening now is Disney decided to go into the streaming service, and they need programming, and they need to use the properties that they want to, what you call it, they want to use the properties that they have already spent so much money on it. So we're gonna exploit any and every aspect that we possibly can for these properties, and that's how we end up getting um you know the a Ben Kenobi, for example,
Mhm.
series, and fucking Mandalorian series, and thing, and the Andor series. And not to say that, like, I'm not bitter that those are happening. Don't get me wrong. I think I want to watch Andor because I heard good things. I saw Kenobi, and like, I didn't think it was great, but I mean, it's not terrible. You get some entertainment value out of it at the end of the day. You know,
Mhm.
uh, we also kind of have to let go of trying to be so protective about some of all these properties, because yes, we grew and we grew with them and loved them, but at the end of the day, they're just it's just marketing. It's just marketing for Disney. Is a Star Wars movie, it's not a Star Wars movie. It's just a marketing plan to make money, and like, it doesn't really matter what ends up being at the end of the day. And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this topic also is the fact that you see it's this new this Disney of today don't give a fuck about anything that has to do with storytelling or presentation or anything like
No.
that. It's like,
Yeah.
there's no, just make it flashy so that it looks good on a trailer. If we're gonna have a quote unquote new trilogy, who gives a flying shit who directs it? Just make 3 Star Wars movies. I don't even care about what the script is about. Just and you saw it
Oh
on
yeah.
this
Oh, absolutely.
unholy trilogy that we got. Lately that it was funny because I'm like destroying the entire trilogy when in reality it was just one movie that that destroyed it. But it was the movie that they
Yeah,
should
but I
have.
will also argue the trilogy and the way they went about it, they clearly didn't have a plan. You know,
They did
you go
not have a
back to
plan.
George
Yeah.
Lucas. He had this massive story that he
Yeah.
said it a million times. It was a big
This was
story.
literally play by ear. Play as it
Oh yeah,
go.
yes, exactly. It was like, hey, we're gonna start it here. Figure out a story. This is where people are at. This is what we're gonna do. Whatever. And then the next one was, all right. So this is what's happening. And then to me, they handed off to Ryan Johnson, who goes, okay, let's do something different. Let's
Right.
get away from it and let's whatever. And to me, he ends up delivering something really special and
Yep.
different, and it feels like a different Star Wars film.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It felt
And
like
then
the right way. But of course, I guess that was deemed too
too
uh
bold.
too
It was too
bold.
bold. It was too bold. It's like,
Yes.
oh no. You rubbed some people the wrong way, and
Yeah.
and to be fair, the actor even mentioned it, what's his name? Mark Hamill. It's like, oh, I don't know if people are gonna like this. Like, yeah, but in the end, it's about the storyteller, and he's a storyteller. Let's trust him where he wants to go, and yeah, that's the deal. And that was proof evident right there. Whereas like Disney doesn't want that. We don't want you to innovate. We don't want you to be too bold. We want you to keep things simple. We want you to keep things within a certain range. We don't want you to go over. We want to make sure that we get the max return on this.
Yeah.
And this is a very strong fan base, so you cannot anger them. And then it's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? This is really how you're making movies? You know what I mean? It's like, no. And then you're left with just, reading bullshit novels at this point. Not that the novels are bullshit, but you know what I mean? That's the only time you're really going to get something maybe special. But I think even those get passed under a lens at this point.
Yeah, they need to have the approval, or
Yeah.
else they're considered fan fiction.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. It's like, what the hell?
Which is so sad because there was some amazing ways that Star Wars could have gone that were actually legitimately interesting. It was not, oh, Palpatine, yeah, he's back. Fuck, yeah, just put it there. Fuck, we need a script because we're supposed to have a movie already and we're kind of late and shit.
Yeah.
Ryan Justin did all this shit and now
We have to undo it all.
We need to undo it all because now evidently the Force was bad and no.
Yeah, undo it all. He throws away the lightsaber. Now he's like, "What are you doing? You can't throw a lightsaber.
You're gonna throw a lightsaber. That's the toy that we're trying to sell."
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, and I think that's the worst part about everything. And again, we're talking about Star Wars here, but you can go through the Marvel products right now. And
Star Wars is inherent. Like you could actually.
Yeah,
make a whole case with just Star Wars.
You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I mean, in an example of the need for the toys, you had the little stupid birds in part 8. Where it's
yes,
what?
Yes.
Why are we focusing on these fucking birds? It doesn't make any damn sense, Yeah, it's just really it doesn't pass the smell test, and everything they do, and then the worst part of it is how much is coming from them. It's just coming from every angle because they own so fucking much, and everything seems to be converting into that. You can say Marvel, but you can also, Hulu. I argue about football, right? About the fact that they I call them the Disney of fucking sports. Well, they Disney has their own hand in it because they fucking own ESPN. Well, guess what? I have a subscription to ESPN, so I'm like, I like to see the Monday Night Football game because it's on ESPN. Oh no, you have the ESPN Plus, which does not have that. Mind you, it's called ESPN Plus. One would assume You have that and more, right?
Plus
No.
disappointment.
Yeah. That's what it is. Now I can't watch it. We have to finagle some way to and yes, we have figured out how to finagle some way to do it. But we have to finagle some way to do it because it's like, no, you don't have ESPN. It's like, yes, I do. I'm paying. It's right here. It says right here.
It's in my
paid.
bill.
Yeah. What the hell? But that's Disney. Disney. Here he come with the tendrils of Disney is in this, and it's just spreading further and further out. And worse, on top of that, is that everybody's copying. Now Warner wants to do the same thing, and God knows maybe Universal's going to end up doing the same thing. It's like, because it's the man, fuck it. It's just the evilness of
the mega corporation.
The mega corporation, yes.
It's the whole thing that we have
Yes.
seen from even back in the Blade Runner, movies. The whole thing with the future being controlled by this mega corporation, like that. This is it. This is actually what it is. Soon enough, you'll see fucking Facebook acquiring one of these media companies, and it'll fucking happen.
Yeah.
And
Google will do it.
Google, Google will acquire fucking Disney. I don't know. It'll be merger. Sorry, because they're too big to be acquired. That at this point it'll be merger. That's when you get shit like AOL Time Warner, like the worst names fucking possible.
Activision Blizzard. That's
Activision Blizzard. It's
a-
like, well, we're too big and none of us want to be acquired into the other one. So we'll just put the two names hyphenated. Fuck it. And that's our future, where we just get watered down, lowest common denominator, agenda driven, entertainment for the purpose, for just for the purpose of selling you more shit. It's at that point, it's like, it's not gonna matter. Like, they're already talking about production on the Star Wars, that will take place in the Old Republic. Like, you think I'm gonna be excited about that at this point? Like, I know who's behind it. Who gives a shit? It's just gonna be. It's not gonna be planned. Or you will think that they will learn from their mistake and this time have an actual plan. But no, because that will be assuming that they care two shits about it, and that's not the case. So the same thing's gonna happen. Look at Marvel. In Marvel, there was already sort of a plan, right? There was already a plan in motion. There was a story arc, and of course, Disney acquired, and they put their touches, and they added, and they extended, and and those movies are done. And you know what? It had its up and downs, but overall, that phase was great. That phase gave us the entertainment that we wanted, and it gave us a closing. Oh, but wait a minute. No, it didn't fucking close, did it? They just, Endgame is in the fucking title. And it ended, but no. We're gonna continue, and now we're into this phase, and now you see them just at every D23 event. That at this point it's more of a circus than anything else.
Yeah,
you see them throwing like, this is, and we're revealing that Shang-Chi is out. Like, who? The Eternals, like, what? And we're gonna shoehorn the story, on it, and it's gonna make sense because, of course, that everything is on the same universe. Because remember, we spoke about the metaverse, which is the combination of all these universes. We're gonna, so that eventually we'll have our Eternal Vengeance. I keep calling them Eternals. I know you told me it's the Celestials or whatever.
No. You're right. You're hitting it right this time. Yeah.
Okay, I got it right. So that's how much I care.
That's hilarious.
um, uh, the the eternal. Oh, what a terrible movie! Again, if
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't said it,
it was
if it
bad
wasn't
all
for
around.
fucking Thor, Love and Thunder, it
It would be
goes
the worst. Yeah.
it goes to show that there's no plan. They're talking about, oh yeah, they're talking about, oh, Secret Wars, and apparently that's gonna be like a series and stuff like that, and
Secret
on
Invasion. Secret Invasion
Secret
is the
Invasions,
series.
yeah,
Yeah.
Secret
Secret Wars
Invasion.
is the next Avengers.
Oh, then see, I even thought that they were related, but apparently not. But yeah, so they are, because hello, it's the metaverse, so everything's correlated and it's Marvel. Um, but there doesn't seem to be any logic towards this. It seems like they're just throwing shit, like the most random shit. Oh, this Thor movie's gonna be hilarious now. It's just, let's make it funny. Let's
Dear Lord,
make
it
it
was
a
so
joke of
horrible.
itself,
It was
because
really horrible.
and but and if but and all of them are horrible. You want to think about it, because even the one that we tend to say, well, maybe this wasn't that bad for this phase. You start to notice that they all follow the same exact formula, and
Yeah.
it's like, come on.
Yeah.
This is this is what I'm seeing happening in Star Wars, but in Star Wars they're extending it more towards TV, rather than the movies. And with Marvel,
Mhm.
it's
They're
more.
giving the movies a rest right now because of the films. The last film, well, the last two, the Last Jedi, rubbed half of the fan base the wrong way. The other half were like, "Whoa, well, we're innovating here," and then
Mhm.
no one was happy with because it completely undid everything. I mean, even the
Oh
people who were
shit!
upset about part 8 were like, "Well, shit, at least we picked the direction. Now where are we going?" You know what I mean?
God damn it!
Yeah.
Ryan Johnson killed our Snooky.
Oh
He
my
was gonna be
god.
the bad guy now. What do we do now? Fuck! Who do we have? Who do we have?
Yeah.
Darth Vader? No, we made him good on the previous. What the fuck? What do we do? How about Palpatine, a zombie? How about zombie Palpatine? Why not? Oh
Yeah.
no, sorry, a clone. Clone Palpatine.
It's even worse. Although that technically was in a comic book, so I kind of, when he was the
No,
clone, I was like,
fuck,
okay, I got that.
fuck,
But
fuck.
still, it didn't matter. Yeah,
It
it didn't
didn't.
matter at this
It
point.
did. There was no bring.
It works for the comics. In your live
Because the
action,
comic had a continuity that made
correct.
sense. It
Mhm.
was not, oh, the Force is good. Oh, the Force is old. Oh, they killed the bad guy. So now what do we do? Because we can't make Kylo the bad guy. Because we want him to be kissy with fucking
With Ray.
with
Yeah.
Ray. Exactly. You know that if they're not brother and sister, then we better make him kissy.
No,
So
we have to have a love
we
story in the end. I
of
mean,
course,
you
yeah.
can't not have that.
Because
We wouldn't be Disney if we didn't
it
have something
makes so
there,
much
Yeah.
sense.
That
It
was
makes
so
so much sense. Now look at because it's not just obviously Marvel and fucking Star Wars. Look at the properties look at the stuff that's coming out now that is getting green lit. Can they make new properties or movies? Or no, that takes time, and they need to be making money as fast as possible so that they have enough to acquire the next big thing. So let's just redo. They're doing the gaming what the game companies have been doing with the remaster. Let's remaster fucking Pinocchio, because who asked for that?
live action though. We got to make it live action. Although
Let's remake.
Pinocchio will not be live action, but at least the rest of it will be.
Let's start remaking and fucking Aladdin and the Little Mermaid and Lions King and all of that shit.
Yeah,
That
that's right down the alley of
ooh,
the gaming. Yeah,
who asked for this stuff? It's like, no, we want to bring these stories to
To new generation.
to the new
A new
generation of
generation.
kids.
Yep.
It's like, what is the new generation so stupid that they can't comprehend like a story like the previous medium? When it was a cartoon, like is that not attractive? Is that what you're saying, or do you need to try to take these properties and now try to shoe in your fucking agendas so that the message gets distorted and changed in some ways? Like I saw a critique about the Pinocchio movie, uh where there was so many things that were changed in a way that made you wonder, like, were the creators aware of what the story was really about? And and the particular scenes, where you see, for example, Pinocchio being a mischievous kid, because he's hanging out with, I forgot the name of the guy, and they're in this fair, I think it is. Um and he's enjoying being, kind of like
Mischievous, yeah.
naughty and mischievous, but not here. You see in this here, and he feels like he is a hostage the entire time.
Wow.
It just feels like he is scared, like he is not wanting to be there, and it's like, well, now you're literally fucking up with the
Now you're changing
entirety
the story. Yeah.
whole story of it, right? Even the
So are you
even
actually bringing the original to new thing, or like you said, are you adjusting and making it digestible and relatable, and maybe, like you said, within a hidden agenda
yeah,
that's I mean, I'm trying to think. As I saw, first off, Mulan was, that was not a good movie. The live action Mulan,
I don't
was
think
not
any
a good
live
movie.
actions anybody have come
Yeah, I don't think
anybody has come up with, like, oh
yeah, I
yeah,
think the one
that
that's
was an improvement.
no, none of them are an improvement. But I would say the one that was like, I remember going, well, that was okay. You know what I mean? It wasn't horrible. Was the Aladdin one? But that doesn't make it better than the original. Nowhere near, and definitely did not in any way justify even going through that route. But yeah, I that's interesting that you mentioned that with the Pinocchio one, because I was like, it's not on my list, but
Oh,
it's on the Disney thing when you pass by, and it's like, oh well, I guess if it's there. But yeah,
it gets
that's
it gets worse. When he's lying, and his nose it's growing. Obviously, we already know the story about Pinocchio. Well,
yeah, no spoilers,
yeah, in this version of it, that just becomes his ploy to escape from where he is. So he needs to reach for something, some keys or something. I don't remember what it was. So he lies on purpose so that his nose will grow, longer, so that he can reach the whatever and be able to escape. That's not the story.
Yeah,
Again,
that's not.
it is, you're just fixing and changing stuff and modifying, and maybe they're like I get it. It's not the first time. It's always it's always happened, and legit. There have been legitimate reasons to like change some things.
Yeah,
I don't.
absolutely, yeah.
I'm not completely insensitive to that, right? But nobody needed to know fucking Lando's sexuality, because no one asked for that. No one.
Oh my god, that's
Zero
hilarious.
people cared
was
for
wondering or cared. Yeah. But that had to be included,
that. Of
right?
course.
Because you need to.
We need to be progressive. No, we need to be progressive
Yeah,
as fuck. Yeah, we you to make sure
Oh,
that
hey, you guys say
everybody, because we need to cater to everybody. We need to make sure we cater to everybody, and this is the only way. It's just make it the safest, change the story, the storylines, uh bring, and this is not a
make
knock
sure you
against.
it's checking off boxes. Well, okay, we got to make it progressive. Check. Okay, we got to make
Yeah,
sure we got to get some sort of toys out of this. Check. All right, we're
yeah,
gonna include something here. That's all it is. It's a movie that you can tell. Oh, they had to check off a box here. That's why that's
right,
there. They had to check a box here. That's why that's there.
yeah,
They're not gonna go all in on one thing because no, now we're picking a side. No, 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 no. We can't do that. We can't. We just include a little bit here, a little bit there. Just make sure we have a little bit of everything and
mhm,
everybody gets a little something out of this film. That's how they
yeah,
make their movies. It's like they literally come with a checklist and say, make sure we have everything on this,
yeah,
in one way or another. Make it, put it in there somehow,
yeah.
and you can smell it, bro. It's disgusting. It's
It's so
disgusting. It's just
it's
like what the
overt.
hell? Yeah,
It's
it's
more
like
overt than any other company
oh yeah,
has done. I
absolutely.
mean, we see fucking Discovery. It's just handed down. It's beer to someone to hold, and they already are planning on maybe probably destroying HBO, but that's another
Yeah,
subject.
yeah, that
Um,
seems to be on the horizon, unfortunately.
but right
Uh,
now, the way it is showing, and he's still, it's just it's I hate to say, but it's mostly this fucking CEO that they have right now, whose name I don't even care to mention.
I don't know. I know Bob
Actually,
Iger for the longest one, but I didn't know the
the
new one.
yeah, the new one, Bob Chapek. Sure, we'll go with
Sure,
that.
we'll go with Chapek.
Bob Chapek, yes,
Okay, another
another
Bob.
Bob.
Yeah, we already had a Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. But interesting thing you mentioned, and it's funny when we talk about it, and I know we joke about it, but you can't help but realize when you start talking about these mega corporations that a lot of these sci-fi things always warn you about. You realize that things start off small, and so an interesting thing here where I wanted to sort of highlight before we get to the end here is some things that I didn't know Disney owned, and some things that I didn't realize they were in the process of creating. Um,
Mm?
so first off, did you know that they own Movies Anywhere?
Disney owns Movies Anywhere.
Yes, they
I
own
did not
Movies
know.
Anywhere.
Nope,
Yes, that's
did
one
not
of
know
their
that.
things. Yeah, they also own GoPro. That's a part of their.
Like, that's interesting. I did
Yeah.
not know that either.
Yeah. I knew that obviously I knew about ABC, and everything over there. Anything ABC is already a big one. Fox, obviously anything included with Fox now is also owned by them. But I didn't know Lifetime was included with that. That they own Lifetime and all Lifetime Network. Uh, Also the History Network. They also own that one.
The history,
Um,
the
yeah,
history network.
I
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
How does Fox let this stuff be sold? It just seems It seems like they would have fought against it to the nail, but
I mean, the sad part is, The Simpsons called it back in the day. It's a real
yes,
thing. They
it
actually
is,
called
yeah,
that one, which
yeah.
I couldn't believe. Uh, the another one which made me laugh because I started thinking, oh, it's the beginning of the end. There's a company they own called Sphero. Sphero is a company that makes robots. You can actually buy one right now.
A robot.
Yes. And so Skynet, right? We all know that's a thing, you know. So this
Skynet,
could either
yes.
become Skynet or it could go the other way and actually become replicants for all we know. You know what I mean?
Who's
Uh,
to say that they aren't?
exactly.
Freaking toasters.
Who's to say the new Bob isn't the old Bob, replicant?
No, because I mean, if the new Bob is the old Bob, then he malfunctioned.
Or did it?
Or
Or
did
was it
it?
programmed to do this? So yeah, it's these little things, and you mentioned the mega corporations made me laugh because I started looking at this massive list of what they have, and I was like, oh my god, you're not kidding. And then of course they're not the only mega corporation. There are plenty,
Yeah.
and they're not all here. You know what I mean? They're we have like Tencent. That's a mega corporation out of China, with
Yeah.
ties to the to to communist China. It's you're right, man. I think we're at that point. We just need to accept the fact that very soon we'll be living in the days of Blade Runner. And I guess the one question that I would have to ask is what modifications are you going to put into your, into your
Well, you know what? I haven't played Cyberpunk, which I need to go in and find out, and then I'll let you know. It's gonna depend on my choices there.
That's right. That's right. Are you going to be a net runner, or are you going to be something else? I got you. But yeah, I don't like the product, and I think that's why I when it comes to film, at least, and I tend to go to A24 and
The
Annapurna.
indies. You're all about the fucking indies.
I am, because they do what they want. You know what I
Still,
mean?
there's still exactly. There's
It's still the
us
Wild
separated
West
from the
there.
man.
Yeah, it's still the
Yes.
Wild West there, and I enjoy that. You know what I mean? And not that they're all bangers, because that's not the case, but they're all original, at least. You know what I mean? Or they tend to be. But all right, well, sir, any last thoughts here before we wrap up?
No, I think I think you know
Nailed it, right?
yeah, I think yeah. Because
Cool stuff.
yeah.
All
I think
right. Well, that there brings us to the end of another awesome episode. The Real 231. We'll try to make sure we number it correctly.
I don't make any promises.
No problem. If you haven't already, please go again. GoodGame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And of course, please like, subscribe, share the podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off this week, saying nothing really. I've got nothing to say at this point. I'm just A24, guys. A24. I'm going through that list. Mr. Dream Twister, take us home.
I can't right now. I'm watching a picture of Kermit the Frog becomes a xenomorph,
Whoa.
and it is so scary shit.
Whoa. That is serious. Did you know that they own the Muppets?
Of course, they own them all.
Yeah, they also
Did you
own
know? Did you know they own you? Check your date of birth.
I mean, clearly they
check your
do,
birth
'cause
certificate.
I wouldn't be surprised. Also, thanks to this little graph art, this is what I'm gonna finish on. The like to this little graph art, I think I realized why ESPN Plus and ESPN so there's the ESPN Incorporated, which is one full thing that includes ESPN, ESPN2, ESPN3, ESPN Now, ESPN Films, ESPN Classic. All that's included in there.
ESPN
Not included
Film.
in there is
heard that
ESPN Plus, which is located in another division called BAMTech, which is part of Disney streaming service.
Oh,
So that's why I'm getting screwed. Mind you, they're all still under the umbrella. I mean, the large umbrella of Disney. It's still the thing, but they just happen to be walled off another section. So
more like Disney minus. Am I right?
Well done, sir. Well done. And with that, we'll see you guys next week. GG!